Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is Scorpio Sky, and you are listening to the Keepin It Strong Style podcast, and it is the best.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out and bury all the frauds. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here, joined by the young boy Josh Smith. On today's show, we'll be reviewing the 47th anniversary show and the first round of the New Japan Cup, as well as covering all the latest news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can support our show by subscribing to the Social Suplex Podcast Network on the podcast app of your choice and leaving a rating and review. You can also get all the podcasts and columns over at socialsuplex.com. If you go to socialsuplex.com/subscribe, you can sign up to get all the podcasts and columns delivered directly to your email inbox. This episode of Keeping It Strong Style is brought to you by Powerslam.tv. Powerslam TV is an independent streaming service with over 4,000 hours of wrestling from companies across the world. Also, check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store at prowrestlingtees.com/socialsuplex to get your official Keeping It Strong Style t-shirt. And don't forget, April 7th in New York, Suplex Mania will be happening at the original Hooters across the street from Madison Square Garden. Come out and join us for a live podcast and a WrestleMania watch party. Looking forward to that, man. So how you doing, young boy?
Bro, I'm exhausted. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overcome by the New Japan Cup. It feels like the G1. I wasn't ready for it, man. I wasn't ready. You know, June, July shows up, and you got Dominion coming up, and you're like, okay, like I'm getting ready for G1 season. You kind of get like your mindset right. You know what I'm saying? But then all of a sudden I was like, well, there hasn't been any New Japan in a few weeks. I wonder what's happening this week. And then it's like the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th. Oh, and we're going to throw an anniversary show in the middle of the week, by the way. You're like, what? So, yeah, I'm tired. But it's been good. It's been really good. Yeah, I've loved it so far. I'm just, I wasn't expecting this, man.
Yeah, man. This weekend was a rough schedule, man.
Yeah.
Keeping up with all those shows was rough, but got it done. But yeah, man, there's an overload of New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is always a good thing, and we have a lot to cover today. So let's kick this thing off, man. The 47th anniversary show was our first show that happened last week, Wednesday.
Before we move on, I'd like everybody to be made aware. This past week, me and Jeremy Donovan, we were on a little game show called the Ricky and Clive, what is it called? The Quiz Time?
The Ricky and Clive Quiz Invitational.
The Quiz Invitational. And I'm just going to say, you guys might want to check that out. It's right here on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. And to say that this was Okada Omega levels of competition would be selling it a little bit short.
Yeah,
this was an 8-star match, the first ever 8-star match in history.
Yeah, it was. It was a epic battle, 8-star brawl of the minds. So yeah, definitely go back and check that out in the archives on the podcast network. So yeah, we had a statement here from Muzza about the quiz, but
oh really?
Yeah, I won't spoil the results of the quiz for you guys. So go back, listen to the quiz, and then look back at Muzza's comments on the question thread in Reddit. But yeah, so
why don't you want to read it out loud?
Well, you want me to spoil the results?
Maybe next week.
Yeah.
Maybe next week.
I want people to go and listen to Ricky and Clive and listen to the show.
Give our boys a little taste.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get on this 47th anniversary show. So yeah, this happened last Wednesday. So
I know we always say this, but it does feel like this happened a long time ago.
Bro, it does. I was like, I can't believe that this was last week.
Yeah, so much has happened since then. It's crazy.
Yeah. So this show opened up. We had Togi Makabe, Toru Yano, Ayato Yoshida, Shota Umino, and Ren Narita taking on the Bullet Club team of Bad Luck Fale, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, Chase Owens, and Hikuleo. And this was a solid opener here with Bullet Club dominating the match. Young Lions trying to get their fire in, but in the end, Chase Owens hits the package pile driver on Yoshida and gets the win for the Bullet Club.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of nice seeing Hikuleo make his return and kind of get his feet wet for the first time in a while. Obviously, it's always fun to see the Young Lions and the dads kind of team up and that sort of thing, but I think that a lot of this had to do more so... The story of this match was just reestablishing the Bullet Club as like a cohesive unit when it comes to these multi-man matches, and that's exactly what we saw here. I mean, I wouldn't go as far to say it was a squash, but it was definitely a dominant display by Fale, God, Owens, and Hikuleo, and I mean, they're a formidable group.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely, there's a lot of questions, what's happening with the Bullet Club with the Elite leaving. Well, the plans are clear. They're planning on continuing to push this thing hard and heavy. And we saw this right here with all these guys here, and it seems like we saw the beginning of the Chase Owens push with this match.
They've been pushing Chase for a long time. This push has been in the works since last Wrestle Kingdom. I'm talking a year ago when he was package pile driving everybody in the Rambo.
Getting the 5 count. R.I.P. King Kong Bundy.
This show started off with a 10-bell salute and condolence to the departure and death of King Kong Bundy, who did spend some time in New Japan back in the 80s. But I mean, the Chase Owens push has been coming on for a long time. He's been teaming up with Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi. And we talked about it last year. This is like the one guy who's been in like more main events than anyone like kind of remembers. Taking on like Okada, taking on Tanahashi and all these guys, and it's like low key. Chase Owens been getting like a little push, but now is his time.
Yeah,
now is his time for everybody to see what the crown jewel really is.
Yeah, I think 2019 could be the year of the crown jewel.
He's winning the G1 this year, bro.
I don't know if we're going to go that far, but...
You want to draw seats? You want to put asses in the seats in the Tokyo Dome? You put Chase Owens in the main event. Night 1 and Night 2. Run it back, baby!
Bro, could you imagine the outrage, the backlash, the internet melting if Chase Owens was in the main event both nights of the Tokyo Dome?
No, it'd be fine. If all they got to do is see him work. It's going to be like when Kenny... Everyone thought Kenny was a joke until he won that first G1, and then everyone's like, oh, okay. Chase is going to do that, but on a more glorious level. It's going to be amazing. Chase Owens' G1 run this year, it's going to be a thing of mastery. But it starts right here. It starts right here in this 5-man tag or 10-man tag, and it starts with Ayato Yoshida.
Yeah, the first of many victims of the package pile driver.
Where were you the night that Yoshida got beat by Owens?
Oh my gosh. So next up, we had Yuji Nagata and Toa Henare taking on the team of Tomohiro Ishii and Yoshihashi. This was a very good match. Everybody delivered here. We got a little prelude of the Ishii and Nagata matchup that would be happening day one of the New Japan Cup. And it was just a thing of beauty whenever Ishii and Nagata were in there.
Yeah, I think we expected big things from this match, and this didn't fail to deliver. You know, you always kind of wonder what the, what the aptitude is going to be for a match's, potential when it's, second match in. But I think for being second match in, this match really delivered. I mean, it was definitely a notable little tag team match. I mean, at 12 minutes, these guys got time to work. We got to see the violence that would be Ishii and Nagata. We got to see Henare and Ishii run it back, and Yoshihashi wasn't too bad here either. So I mean, everybody served their purpose well. And I mean, this was a good little preview match. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I love any time we can get Nagata and Ishii and Henare in the ring together.
The near falls at the end were really good. With a lot of saves, a lot of times where like they kind of teased you and made you think like Nagata's gonna get the win, Henare is gonna get the win. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was good, man. It was good.
Good stuff. So then we have another 10-man tag here with...
Whoa. Don Callis joined commentary.
Yes. Big Don, he flew in on the copter as usual, flying in late.
On that Nordholm money.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. But yeah, he joined...
Shout out to Caleb.
He joined Kevin Kelly and Boom Boom Colt Cabana at the commentary booth. Which then brought us this 10-man tag with Satoshi Kojima, Tomioka Hanma, Tiger Mask, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Dragon Lee taking on Suzuki-gun of Minoru Suzuki, Taichi, Kanemaru Desperado, and Taka.
And before this match started, we got the miraculous return of Hiromu Takahashi. Mouths were agape. It was crazy.
Yeah, you must have had a different feed than I did. Yeah, there was no... It's funny because I was trying to stay off Twitter this day so I wouldn't get spoiled. But then I opened up Twitter and I saw the trending thing, and I saw that Hiromu was trending.
Oh.
So for a second I was like, oh, Hiromu's back. But it was actually so many people tweeting that Hiromu didn't show up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That his name was trending.
I'll tell you what, I actually forgot like that. I wasn't too worried about getting spoiled for whatever reason. I was just on Instagram, and I'm not on Twitter obviously, but I was on Instagram, and like I'll be honest with you, I didn't see any spoils for this show. That was surprising to me because even like Cork and Hall shows, I usually experience spoilers. And for whatever reason, even to this day, I haven't seen much. I've seen a lot about the New Japan Cup, but it's kind of like this. Maybe I don't know because I'm not as connected as you. But do you feel like maybe this show flew a little under the radar? It didn't seem like I saw a lot about it.
I think it did. I think it kind of got swept under the rug a little bit. Like it was there, and either you watched it or you kind of missed it. And then like New Japan Cup started, so it's like
it's kind of a shame because this is. We'll get to it, but in my opinion, since the Tokyo Dome, this is the best show that they put on this year.
Oh yeah, I mean, this can definitely, as of right now, be a show of the year candidate in our year-end awards.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want out of New Japan, and it was just so surprising. So there was so little fanfare, so little buzz for this show. It felt like
Yeah. And back to this match, I mean, this match, the purpose was, hyping up the New Japan Cup matches with guys on each side. And eventually it came down to Taguchi and Taka. Taguchi hits the Bomaye, then he hits the Dodon and pins Taka.
Yeah. This was a match. It happened.
Yeah. So the next...
This is the Suzuki-gun 3-star special.
Yeah.
The attack, brawling in the crowd, shenanigans, heat, comeback, everybody running in, doing their moves. Yeah, it was fine. It was what you'd expect.
So then we had the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match.
This is where business picked up, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, we had Shingo and Bushi taking on Sho and Yo of Roppongi 3K. And this was a great matchup between these two teams. This match was filled with a ton of callbacks from their previous encounters, and even callbacks from matches where it was Bushi and Hiromu teaming. There was a lot of callbacks to that, and just, overall, just a really well laid out match. A lot of great back and forth action. I loved it.
Yeah, I thought this was really good. Seeing Sho and Yo really Sho and Shingo fill their roles right away, trading strikes and the clotheslines, and just basically being the hosses of the junior division. That rivalry has been simmering and building for a long, long time. Yo, flying all over the place. It is interesting. You kind of have mirror images in a way. Not to say I don't think obviously that Bushi's as good as Yo, but you have very similar dynamics to the team elements between these two guys, and that's very apparent throughout this match. But I think really what it really came down to is Sho and Yo being so familiar with one another and their cohesiveness as a tag team versus kind of taking on Shingo in a one-off capacity. Bushi's there, but Bushi's hardly doing anything. I mean, not to take anything away from him, he hit suicide dives, and he spit the mist, and he was doing stuff, but again, it was the Shingo show, and it was really who's going to win out, the dominance of Shingo or the tag team excellence of Roppongi 3K. And I mean, they told a really great story here, really fast, hard-hitting, action-packed. I'll go as far to say that I think that this is the best junior tag match that I've seen since last year, probably the Roppongi 3K
Young Bucks
matches.
Yeah.
I mean, this was really good. And they got a lot of time, 17 minutes. Everybody got their stuff in. And the close to this match was, just excellent.
Yeah, you had Bushi hits a suicide dive, Sho German Shingo, and then Bushi misses Sho. Then we get a huge pumping bomber by Shingo.
He killed him.
Destroyed him. Then they hit the Rebellion, but then Yo makes a save. Bushi goes to the top. He goes for the MX. He misses. Yo jumps in, and they hit the 3K. 1, 2, 3. We have new IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions, Roppongi 3K.
And that really speaks to what I was saying there, because up until that moment, Shingo was dominating the way he was. Bushi was doing his auxiliary stuff, but it's the timing and the ring awareness that Roppongi 3K has, and that's kind of the story that they told, that they kind of learned from their mistakes facing this team time and time again. And they were able to kind of capitalize on some of these rookie mistakes that maybe Shingo and Bushi have made. Before we move on, I guess my question is, where do we go from here?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because we have a question from Muzza who says, who do you see challenging Roppongi 3K for the tag titles? And that's kind of a hard question to ask, to answer, because there's really not many teams right now in the junior division. I mean, they've already feuded with Kanemaru and Desperado. There's Tiger Mask and Jushin Liger.
I think that's done.
Yeah, I feel like New Japan really needs to bring in some new junior tag teams.
Well, we do have a team that there's speculations about, coming up in the future here, but I don't know if we're ready to talk about that. But at this point, I really don't know who takes them on next. Obviously, you could hypothetically do a rematch, you could do Suzuki-gun Juniors again, which it does feel like at this point in time that there might be a little bit of some unfinished business between Roppongi 3K and Kanemaru and Desperado. That's another possibility.
Yeah.
But with the Best of Super Juniors kind of looming just here in a few months, that might open up the possibility for some new junior team, combinations and that sort of thing. It's really hard to say, though. Right now it's a 3-team division that have all faced each other in almost every possible combination over the past year that you can imagine.
Right.
So, and this has been the best match out of that entire, over a year feud by far. So I don't know what how much more I expect from that. And I don't know, man. Sometimes it just does feel like they need to combine these divisions.
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying that since we started this show, that just get rid of the junior belts and just have one big tag division.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big proponent of that. You know, I even think back today. I was thinking about, you know, the Young Bucks and when they were the champions, and it's like they had some really good matches when they were the champions, but they only wrestled like 2 teams. Mm-hmm. 3 teams, and I remember we were like thinking about all the possibilities and like how it breathed new life in the division, and it kind of didn't, because they just ended up facing the same couple guys. And it's like, but what would happen if you threw a Roppongi 3K into the heavyweight tag team division, or like what if you threw Kanemaru and Desperado? I mean, that would shake things up a lot.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man.
And that would help freshen up the heavyweight tag team scene, because that's another division that could get stale quickly.
It's
when you
bad.
just have
It's
GOD and KES and Evil and Sonata as the main 3 teams that are fighting each other over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think it would be much healthier just to combine those 2 divisions. And I mean, we don't bring it up every episode. I think it's something we've said on the air many times. But I mean, I just wonder, like, where do we go from here? It seems like Shingo's not long for being in the junior tag division.
Yeah,
you know? This guy's a star.
Yeah, I'm seeing a Shingo run in the Best of the Super Juniors in a couple months. So yeah, I highly.
Shingo's gonna be in the G1 too. Shingo and Chase Owens is gonna be like A block final match. It's gonna be great.
I mean, as far as, you know, junior tag teams, I think if I were them, maybe bring in a team from CMLL, put a junior team there for a possible defense.
That's a possibility. But we shall see. We shall see what comes next. But I mean, you know, later in the year they got a junior tag league again, and it's like, who's going to be in that?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anymore.
So, speaking of juniors, next we had the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match. The champion, the Bone Soldier, Taiji Ishimori, defending against Jushin Thunder Liger. And another great junior match following this junior tag match. They had a hot crowd. The crowd was so invested into this match.
Yeah.
They wanted Liger to win this match so bad. Liger once again just turns the clock back. You would think that you were watching, 1990, early 90s Jushin Thunder Liger here. This man just pulls it out every time in a big match, no matter how old he is.
What I really liked about it was how in the early parts of the match, Liger really just tried to ground him a lot and kind of work the submission game that he has. Bust out the Romero special like I've mentioned last week.
Yeah.
Dragon sleepers. And just being really crafty, a real astute veteran. But then as Ishimori started to kind of fire back, Liger just stuck with him toe to toe the whole time. And the great thing about it was Liger wasn't trying to hurt this guy or go on big long tangents. Liger was trying to win.
Yeah.
Every time Liger hit something, he would follow it up with a pinfall, and he was trying to get this guy out of here. And Ishimori was fighting for his life the whole time.
Right. Well, the whole story of the match, it was almost even though Ishimori is a champion, he's younger and a rising star, he was almost the underdog going into this match, and they were kind of telling the story he's a little bit psyched out and kind of almost nervous in a way to be in the ring with probably one of the best junior heavyweights of all time in Jushin Thunder Liger.
I mean, Liger's the greatest junior of all time. And
it's almost like he psyched himself out, especially after taking the pinfall, that quick pinfall at the Honor Rising show. Liger was in his head, and like you mentioned, Liger was just keeping up with Ishimori and just sometimes even outpacing.
Liger almost won the title off of a countout when he hit him with that. He hit that apron cannonball, and then a brainbuster on the floor. And I was like, oh my God, he's about to win the belt.
This man Liger trying to go into MSG as a champion.
Bro, some of my favorite 80s matches involve count out wins. And I know people nowadays it doesn't vibe with the current culture that's around, and I agree with that. I see why. But every now and again, maybe do a count out. And they teased it to perfection. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, Ishimori
Liger's about to take this belt off this man.
Literally at the last second. There was a great near fall right after that with Liger hitting the Liger bomb. The crowd popped big for that one.
He hit a top rope Hurricane Rana.
Oh yeah.
Like yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I really appreciate Liger treating this like the big match it was, and kind of, we don't see him do all, we don't see Liger bombs every day, and all these different moves that he does, the capo kick and all that.
Yeah.
But he really brought it here. It was awesome.
Yeah, and then towards the end here, Liger hits the crucifix pin, gets another close near fall on Ishimori, falls up with a Fez press, but then Ishimori cuts him off, gets him in the label lock. Liger tries to roll through, but Ishimori just kind of rolled him back in the middle, and Liger was forced to submit.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking to kind of see that, but I think ultimately everybody kind of knew what the score was, what was going to happen here. But the way they built this matchup and the roles that these two guys played, they did enough to suspend your disbelief and to kind of start buying into the idea that maybe like Liger could get one last run with this thing. Tanahashi won the belt this past year at the Tokyo Dome, so it's not like anything's impossible.
Right. And I mean, Liger delivered here. Man, this was a great matchup here.
Yeah, Liger really delivered. I would actually, do you think I'm out of line in saying that so far in 2019 this is the best junior match of the year?
Yeah, I can't think of anything. What else? Who else has Ishimori wrestled one-on-one?
He wrestled Kushida. I was not impressed with that match. And then he wrestled Taguchi, which was a great match, but
Yeah, I would definitely say I like this Liger match better than the Taguchi match and better than the Kushida match.
Unless you wanted to count something from the Fantascomania tour, like maybe Soberano and Carbonario, which was great.
Yeah.
But I would say so far, and I'm including junior tags, I think that this right now, and I think he'll probably get knocked out, but this is my leading contender for junior match of the year already.
Yeah.
In 2019, and I wasn't 5 stars on it, but because of the nostalgia factor, the emotion behind it, the nostalgia, everything, it was really good. And we put a lot of praise on Liger, but Ishimori was excellent in this match.
Yeah, I mean, this man Ishimori is incredible. Just the lightning speed he has, and I love his moveset and what he brings to the table.
That yes lock.
Yeah, the yes lock. they mentioned that on commentary on one of the New Japan Cup shows, one of the tag matches, that he's a big fan of Daniel Bryan, and even though it's called a label lock, he wants to call it the yes lock because he loves Daniel Bryan so much.
That must mean he's probably not a fan of the new Daniel Bryan.
Nah, Ishimori is just like Rich.
He's not with this new Daniel Bryan shit. Post match, after the match is over, Ishimori grabs the mic and he asks for a challenge. And
he said he was calling out a Ring of Honor. He said
he wants someone from Ring of Honor to come face him at MSG. But instead, we got the return of this man.
Dragon Lee, he comes out. He says, I'm not from Ring of Honor. I am from CMLL. And, pretty much saying, I'll accept your challenge for Madison Square Garden. Ishimori talked back to him in Spanish, saying, I speak Spanish, and kind of talked back of him because, Ishimori spent a lot of time in Mexico. And then Ishimori accepted the challenge, and we thought that we would be seeing Ishimori and Dragon Lee one-on-one, but then later on, Ring of Honor put out a video of Bandito wanting to be in the match, so we're going to have a triple threat match for the title in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that now? Since it kind of seemed like a pretty hot topic, a lot of people had a lot of opinions on this.
Yeah, might as well, since we're here and it's relevant. There's a lot of people I saw on the internet were very disappointed that they added Bandito into this matchup. Now, how are you feeling about this?
I just when I think about it, it's not. I don't know. It's a Ring of Honor New Japan show, Would I love to see a singles match? Absolutely. But at the same time, it's they got to get as many guys on the card as they possibly can. And not every match has to be an epic one-on-one encounter. Like, this is not going to be Wrestle Kingdom. I'm sorry to inform, some of you. I know that we would all... I'm going to be at the show, and I'm sure a lot of you will, and, the rest of you listening are probably going to be watching it on Honor Club or on New Japan World. But I don't understand why people are so disappointed. I get, like, not maybe preferring the triple threat, but it's kind of like, well, they got to get as many bodies as they possibly can, A. B, it's the junior style. They're probably going to have a blowaway match. C, it's Bandito. And if you guys are not familiar with Bandito, like, I can't imagine a better guy from Ring of Honor to throw into this. And let's be clear here. This is a dream match as it stands right now. Bandito, who's not a CMLL guy, just so you guys are aware. Like, I don't know if you guys are aware of this guy who has wrestled for, like, the Crash, the Independents, I believe AAA. So seeing him and, like, Dragon Lee in a match together is kind of like, holy crap. But then you're also getting Ishimori, and it's like, where else could this happen? And then you're seeing it happen in Madison Square Garden. It's like, there's a lot of reasons to be excited for this. Final point, and I just want to say this. All you marks who are getting mad, and I'm calling you marks because some of you guys are just being a little markish here. And, like, let's be real. You're being a little markish. Just own up to it. If you're getting mad about this, it's kind of dumb because guess what? These guys are probably all going to wrestle each other in the Best of the Super Juniors in, like, a month after this show. So you're going to get what you want anyways. So what are we complaining about?
Right, and first of all, I am never going to complain about Bandito being added to any match. Give me all the Bandito you can. All in weekend, we saw Bandito wrestle like 3 times that weekend. I'm down for seeing Bandito wrestle as many times as I can in one weekend.
Bro, the first time I saw Bandito last year at WrestleCon Super Show, I did not know who he was.
Neither did I.
And it's still one of the greatest... like live performances, live matches I've ever seen in my life. I mean, that was like a special moment.
Yeah, dude, that was like
like a highlight. And like, I don't feel like enough people saw it or understand. Like, I've never seen Lucha on that level in my life.
Yeah, this man Bandito is incredible, and he's on a next level. And this match is going to be blowaway. All 3 of these guys are going to be flipping and flopping and diving all over the place. Like you mentioned, it's going to be that traditional junior-style matchup in a 3-way. I love it. I think it's a great idea. And like you mentioned, people have to remember, this is Ring of Honor and New Japan present G1 Supercard. Because believe it or not, without Ring of Honor, New Japan is probably not getting into Madison Square Garden.
You know what I think they should do for the Ring of Honor New Japan show? I think they should, like, cut the ring in a diagonal, and on one half of the ring is like the black and red and all that,
and the American pads,
and the American pads, and then on the other side it's the blue and the white and the Japanese pads, and like keep it separate that way.
That'd be pretty cool.
Would it? I mean, like, I was saying it kind of facetiously, but it sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, it does.
Y'all listening? I know someone from the office is listening. Y'all better, y'all decide to do this. Y'all better pay your boy. That's all I'm saying. Cut the check.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this 3-way match. It's going to be incredible.
I mean, you're more on Twitter than I am, and from what I understand, a lot of people are like really up in arms about this, like pissed.
Yeah, people are, why are we getting a one-on-one championship match? A one-on-one match it's more prestigious, it's better, blah 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 blah.
Last week I was like, let's get 6 people, put this belt on a hook, and make them climb a ladder. Talk about prestige. I wanted them to climb a ladder. It's barbaric.
And like you mentioned, don't forget, New Japan is a Japanese promotion. They gotta save big junior singles matches for all these big shows that we have coming up the remainder of the year. Yeah. You're telling me that they're not thinking about doing, Dragon Lee Ishimori one-on-one later on in the show? Bandito Ishimori one-on-one later on?
Bandito, Dragon Lee.
Yeah, like you mentioned, we got the Best of Super Junior Tour coming up in May with some big venues towards the end of that tour. They have a lot of seats to fill.
I understand these guys probably won't all be in the same block, and the chances that they'll all end up wrestling each other in singles matches is it's not super likely. But it's impossible that at least 2 of them aren't in the same block. So we're definitely getting some sort of one-on-one match between at least 2 of these guys. There's a possibility, though, they could all be in the same block. We could wind up getting singles matches between all three of them round robin style. So I think it's a little overblown.
Yeah.
A little overblown. And it's like, just enjoy what you guys are getting, man. Like, you're going to see three of the greatest talents in the world today, like, go at it. Like, I don't really love triple threats, personally. I don't. But also, keep in mind, this is not the main event. This is an undercard match.
Right.
It's an undercard match. The other thing, too, is, like, my favorite type of triple threat match are, like, those old X Division matches.
Oh, yes. Oh, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I love me, Samoa Joe, AJ and Daniels.
Yeah.
You get Chris Sabin, Michael Shane, and Frankie Kazarian. Dude, all those three-way combinations they would do back in the day in Impact, bro, were fire.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of what I'm seeing here. So I don't see the complaint. Like, and hey, if you're upset about it, but you didn't act overblown, I don't mean to categorize you with everybody else, but it just seemed like there was a lot of outrage this past week, and it's kind of crazy.
Right. It's not like they put like a horrible wrestler in this match.
And let me just say this: let's put the belt on Bandito, have him take the belt back to Ring of Honor, and that belt's going long gone. I was talking to Rich this past week because he's been playing a lot of like Fire Pro, and he talked about how like you can in the promoter mode, you can invite a champion from another company to come to your league,
Yeah.
and then book them to lose the belt. You take that shit. You make it your belt.
Oh my gosh.
And then you send them packing. Like you don't give them a rematch. That's what they need to do here.
And become the Ring of Honor Junior Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah. Joe Koff finessing.
Bro, fans would lose their minds. Oh man. So that brings us to the next matchup here. We have Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada, and Hiroki Goto taking on LIJ of Tetsuya Naito, Evil, and Sonata. This was a good match. The crowd was really into seeing all of these big stars. They popped huge when Okada and Naito got in the ring. So there's definitely some juice still in that rivalry, in that matchup.
They popped for that, but what they really popped for was when he took them the skirt off
and the shorts.
And he showed the shorts. This man's gonna be getting short pops for the rest of his life, bro.
Yeah, I forgot which show it was, but Kevin Kelly asked Rocky, he's like, "How much longer is the shorts gonna get a pop?"
Bro, this is a for life thing. Like,
yeah,
this
dude.
is like, I'm not even mad about the pants anymore. Like, it's like sometimes in life you have to go through really bad things so you can appreciate the good things in life. And like, we had to endure, a year of crap so that we can have a lifetime of goodness. And the shorts are back and all is right in the world. And this man Okada's getting ready to, beat dusty old ass Jay White and take this title back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And, the shorts, it's always awesome that he's back to the shorts, and they're going to continue to get a pop for the remainder of the year. And all six of these guys here, I mean, this wasn't a blow-away match or anything. I mean, the main purpose of this match was to kind of give you a preview of what was to come in the New Japan Cup.
You didn't think this was blow-away?
No.
What? Bro, I had this like 4.5.
We watched two different six-man tags.
My favorite part was when Hiromu came out at the end.
Hiromu came out and helped LIJ win.
A masked man came out and clubbed Tanahashi in the back of the head and then pulled off the mask, and it was the ticking time bomb. We need to do some fantasy.
It's gotta be Hiromu.
But whose side is he on?
Oh man.
Yeah, he came out. He joined Chaos. He turned on LIJ.
But yeah, I mean, this match, it was fine. I mean, these guys, they hit their big signature spots. Went back and forth. Didn't do anything too crazy. Came down to the end. Goto hits Ushigoroshi on Naito. Sonata cuts him off with the skull end. Swings him. Goto counters out of that and hits him cradles him up with the Goto clutch for the win.
Yeah, Goto picked up a win.
What a surprise.
That's surprising.
So then we go to our main event of the evening, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion Switchblade Jay White takes on the never openweight champion Will Ospreay.
Yeah, very excited for this match when it happened. The crowd was really into this, and for good reason. This was an excellent match. Just, I don't know if I would sit here and tell you that this was the match of the year or anything like that, but it's very interesting. It's like a sum of two parts. It's like two guys who, I don't even know how I want to describe it. It's like their individual performances were almost better than the actual flow of the match itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
How did you feel? Is that kind of what you got out of it?
Overall, I thought it was just a really great main event, and I thought both guys kind of worked hard, and it
was like all the little things that they were doing.
Right. It's like both guys, you had Jay White, being the aggressive heel, being the chicken shit heel at some points in the match. You had Will Ospreay with this, assassin gimmick, this hybrid, high flying, strong style that he's developed. And both of them just kind of playing up to their strength and coming together to make a really great matchup. Yeah,
Ospreay was just real. His selling was excellent in this match.
Yeah, and Jay White was he worked over the ribs.
Yeah, his rib attack,
which was very smart because Ospreay did have that rib injury, which almost took him out of Wrestle Kingdom this year.
Consistency.
And Jay White
storytelling.
Yeah. Jay White showing why he's one of the smartest, the cerebral assassin of New Japan.
No, he's the cerebral assassin.
And attacked the weak spot, and plus two.
He's the king of kings.
He's
the game.
even if Ospreay's ribs weren't injured before, attacking the ribs is a great game plan because
it's his core.
Right, all of his high flying, he lands on his core. The shooting stars and 450s and all these dives that he does, it's going to affect that midsection. So
the real thing, and I think where the story was important here, was that taking out that core ensured that he wouldn't have the mobility or the body strength to get him up for the Stormbreaker.
Yeah, Stormbreaker.
Yeah, the Stormbreaker. And we saw that come into play here. But there was just so much to like here. Ospreay being a resilient and fiery babyface, but not in an underdog sort of way. In a way to where, Jay White had to basically capitalize on one point of attack to avoid the onslaught that Will Ospreay, ever since he's gotten this mean streak and ever since he's gotten this violent side to him, he's coming off like a badass. Bro.
Oh, yeah, I'm loving it.
And, he was kicking the crap out of Jay White here. Now, Jay White would slow things down for sure and, kind of get the upper hand a lot of times, and he was very cerebral. Mm-hmm. But he had to pick his spots, and that was kind of the story here was, Will Ospreay attacking but selling the ribs while Jay White was trying to avoid, this onslaught from this young, hungry challenger, but timing the counters, and that's kind of the new thing with Jay White. Now it's been going on for a while now.
Yeah, he's becoming one of the best counter wrestlers in New Japan right now. Just the way he counters in and out of maneuvers and finds ways to counter your big move into his big moves. It's great. It's a thing of beauty. I pop for it, man. It's awesome.
It is funny. I hear so many criticisms about Jay White, and I don't think they're all unfounded. I think there is validity to maybe not all the criticisms, but the idea that people don't like Jay White. Mm-hmm. There's validity to that. If you don't like him, you don't like him. And I'm not telling... I've actually been criticized before because people have been we've had listeners of the show be like, I don't like Jay White. Don't tell me to like him. I'm like, I'm not telling you to like him. I'm telling you the truth about him. He's good, but I'm never going to tell anybody to like this guy. And for whatever reason, with a lot of the fan base, he does not connect emotionally. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But there's this thing where he is just so... He does the little things so well. And... if you don't like him, you don't like him. I get it. But I will tell you this. There's nuance to his wrestling. There is a lot of thought and a lot of just intricacy to what he is doing in that ring, the stories that he's telling.
A lot of attention to detail.
Yeah, so much attention to detail that's like, if you're not that's the one thing I won't stand for. If people tell me they don't like him, they don't like him. If they tell me they think he's boring, he's boring. But when people tell me that like he sucks or that like he's not good, like he's these good matches he's having, he's getting carried, I'm like, what are you watching, man? Because this dude is so in tune with his character and so like dialed into what he's doing. It is, in a way, he's like kind of a master in a way. It's kind of crazy. I'm not saying he's like Kenny Omega and giving you blow away like dynamic, action packed matches, but for what he is doing, I mean, there's almost a Bret Hart like a Bret Hart, Eddie Guerrero sort of esque thing where like every movement, everything he does matters. Like there's no, like Jake Roberts, like
right, no wasted moment.
Everything's psychology with him. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. And so there are people who tell me like he has terrible facials or there's no psychology, and I'm like, I don't know what they're seeing because all I see is pure psychology from this guy. Like,
I think he has great facials when he's on the attack. I think he's very cocky, very arrogant, aggressive. And then when he's on the run, man, you can tell he's in danger and he's trying to back off and trying to find a way out.
Now, I will say this. There was a lot of people that didn't like Jay White, or I'm sorry, they didn't like Ospreay looking so competitive and almost dominant in this match because he definitely did. I mean, like, he looked like he had Jay White's number in this match. And that kind of was the story going into this match, the fact that they wrestled when Jay White was a young lion. Ospreay's got a win over him. He's beaten him before. He could do it again, and that was kind of the story here. Even though he's the never champion, like, in a way, Ospreay was kind of like the senior guy here, and that was kind of playing out a little bit. What did you think about, like, there was a lot of people who were like, Jay should have beat him cleaner, quicker, and easier. I mean, what did you think?
No, I would be against that view. Clearly, they have very big plans for Will Ospreay. This year is all about elevating Will Ospreay, getting him out of the junior division. He's starting his ascent into becoming a heavyweight and becoming a main event player in New Japan. So if you want to continue him on that trajectory, there's no way you could have him go into this match and have him get jobbed out in a 10-minute squash to Jay White. We saw the battle he had with Kota Ibushi, a guy who has been in main events, who's had incredible G1s, incredible tournaments, and is a key player for New Japan. So it would make no sense for him to go toe-to-toe with Ibushi and not be able to go toe-to-toe with Jay White. And especially, like I mentioned, they're trying to push this guy to the main event scene. So you use this match to help elevate Will Ospreay. So yes, even though Ospreay lost this match, he still came out on the other side looking like a bigger star, somebody who can hang with the IWGP champion, and that plants a seed in your head. Can Will Ospreay be the IWGP champion in the future?
Well, I think that I know we're spending a lot of time on this. We got a lot to get into, but I think that there's a lot of interesting takes when it comes to this match. A couple things I want to bring up, but let's do this before we do that. Let's just cover the end of this match. So Ospreay time and time again was looking for the Stormbreaker. Couldn't, because the continuous rib attacks from Jay White, was unable to perform the Stormbreaker. He opted for head kicks. He went for a Robinson special. White ended up countering the Oz Cutter into a crucifix with elbow strikes, which we actually haven't seen from him in a while.
Yeah,
and I kind of popped for that because I like that.
Yeah.
Ospreay countered the Blade Runner into a reverse Rana. He tried to go for that back elbow. Both men were down. Ospreay dropped the elbow pad, and at this point, Gato came in and kind of distracted the ref because what does he call it? The off with his head?
Yeah, the hidden blade.
He used to call off with his head.
Yeah.
He's changed the name a bunch of times. Gato comes in to distract the ref, and while that's going on, White low blows Ospreay. The crowd goes crazy. He hits a half and half suplex. That crazy.
Love it. I love it.
I love that half and half suplex. He hits another suplex for the 2 count. White looks for the Blade Runner, gets countered. Ospreay hits a sit-out powerbomb for a great near fall. Crowd pops. Ospreay goes up top. Imploding 450 connects for 2. White makes it to the ropes. I mean, like, I thought he was about to win right there. And, like, I was like, I didn't even notice he was that close to the ropes. Ospreay looks for the Stormbreaker again, but it gets countered. Ospreay lands with a series of kicks, but then White counters the Oz Cutter into the Blade Runner, hits it proper, and boom, Ospreay is done. 29 minutes and 10 seconds. Jay White defeats Will Ospreay clean. I mean, other than that low blow, like, clean.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you mentioned that minor distraction, but Ospreay came back from that, and then eventually White was able to catch him with that Blade Runner out of the Oz Cutter. I thought that was a great counter. And I think a big story too is what happened after the match. So after the match, they're going on. Jay White's attacking Ibushi, attacking Ospreay, and then Ibushi makes the save from the beatdown. But then the Bullet Club comes in and they're beating down Ibushi and Ospreay. And then you had Tanahashi, Goto, and Okada kind of run them off. And then you were left with the scene of Tanahashi, Goto, Okada, Ibushi, and Will Ospreay all standing strong in the ring, kind of taunting each other about the New Japan Cup, but ultimately showing each other respect, shaking each other's hands. And you have like this big, like, mega babyface team.
The Super Friends.
Yeah.
I was hoping that when Ibushi and Ospreay were getting beat up, that Kenny Omega would come out.
Oh man!
But no, yeah, that was interesting, and so that end of the show. All in all, I thought that this show was great. We got, several good matches, but 3 great matches in the main event: the junior tag match, as well as the junior heavyweight title match. Jay White was very aggressive in this match.
Yeah,
like we talked last week about how I mentioned how I felt like both guys would have to kind of compensate and meet one another in the middle. And that's kind of what we saw here. We saw a more aggressive Jay White, which is something people have criticized fairly. And I feel like he's starting to, fulfill that. And then Will Ospreay was still athletic, still dynamic, but we saw him kind of slow things down and work a bit more methodical, but a bit more measured and violent pace as well. So this was this was like what I'd call a heavyweight New Japan style match. I mean, it was really good.
Yeah.
We have questions?
Yeah, a lot of questions here.
I got questions too, so that's good.
First comes from Mick STRHD. He says, "Who do you think should challenge Ospreay for the Never Openweight Championship?"
Well, I was hoping that we would get some sort of defeat possibly in the New Japan Cup that would, necessitate a title challenge, but it doesn't seem so far like that's going to be the case. Spoiler alert. So maybe the last guy who beat him needs to challenge. Jay White needs to put a title challenge out.
Title?
No, he just needs to challenge for the Never. He's not putting his belt on the line. He needs to collect the Never belt. He needs to get that Austin Aries gimmick where he becomes the New Japan belt collector.
Be like a Kurt Angle and TNA in like 07, win all the belts.
Yeah. No, who could you see like challenging Ospreay that would be like interesting?
Well, I'm not sure how soon they'll do it, but I definitely think there is money in a Ibushi Ospreay rematch. I'm not sure how long you wait for that. Maybe Dominion, maybe after the G1, maybe the Royal Quest with being a UK show.
It did also seem after the Ring of Honor shows that Jeff Cobb is a possible viable challenger for that belt. So that's another possibility. But just looking at the landscape of like New Japan, is there anybody that you could say like I would like to see them step up and challenge for the Never title? Against Will Ospreay?
I would love to see Shingo.
Oh God! Oh God! Take my money.
He's a guy that's often referred to on commentary as an open weight wrestler.
Yeah, it's true.
So I mean, that would make all the perfect sense to run Shingo and
Shingo would fuck up Will Ospreay.
Oh my gosh.
That's a great pick. Like, that's a really, really... I wish I would have thought of that. Yeah, man.
And we had another question about this kind of situation from Reddit user Asahi Yojimbo. He says, what can be done to flesh out contendership for the Never Openweight title? Should it actually involve junior and heavyweight challengers?
I don't know. I understand the question, and it's a valid question, but I mean... it's New Japan Pro Wrestling, so you know what's going to happen. Someone's going to come out after a title match and point and say, I want the belt, and then he's going to get a title shot. That's how we flush out title challengers.
Or he loses, gets pinned in a multi-man match.
Yeah. Those are the ways we flush them out. Like, I think I'm just inferring based on the question. It sounds like, well, how are we going to figure this out? Is there going to be a ranking system? Is there going to be a tournament,
a battle royal?
Yeah, and it's like, nope. Someone's going to get pissed in the middle of a multi-man match and then be like, I want your belt. And then Ospreay's going to be like, let's do it. And then Kizuna Road.
Destruction in Hiroshima.
Destruction in Kobe. Like that's what's going to happen. So I will say this. I love that the title's open weight. I'm glad that they're pushing the open weight thing. Is anyone on there going to ask us a question about Will Ospreay's status as his weight class? Because I feel like we need to talk about that real quick before.
Yeah. So there's a question about him as a main event guy from Twitter user @headbandbrother. He says, "Do you like
Headband Brother?
Do you like the apparent report that Ospreay is the next long-term main event guy for New Japan, and that there isn't any really main fresh Japanese talent being built up to the main event level?"
Great question. So I think what he's referring to is this past week on the Pacific Rim podcast. It's Fumi Saito, right?
Yeah.
Fumi Saito basically said that his sources in New Japan told him that the guy that they see as being the potential replacement for Kenny Omega as far as being an ambassador in the West and being like a worldwide superstar is Will Ospreay, which is interesting because, earlier this year Dave Meltzer had kind of said that Jay White was sort of being seen as the number one gaijin, kind of given the booking opportunities that Kenny would have been given had he re-signed. And that does seem to be the case right now. I mean, he's at the top of the company, but also everyone can kind of see the handwriting on the wall. The same way we saw that Sabre was in line for a big push, everyone can kind of see Will Ospreay's in line for a big push. It's right there in front of us. But I mean, as far as his question, he's like, how do we feel about him being pushed as a main event guy? Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you think?
Dude, I love it. I mean, I think
do too.
Ospreay's an incredibly talented guy.
He was a dick to me WrestleMania last year.
Oh, by the way, yeah, somebody on Twitter was like, why doesn't the young boy like Will Ospreay? Can he explain that story? I forgot to ask you about it last week. Do you want to give any detail into what happened and why you don't like Will Ospreay?
Okay, yeah, whatever. Like, we have a pretty large audience, but it's not like that crazy. So I'll just tell you guys, this is what happened. So, I'm not a mark for wrestlers the way that like other people are, and I'm not like putting anybody on blast. I'm not like, I'll tell you, I would never pay like $25 for a meet and greet to go meet a wrestler. Like, probably. Maybe like for Tanahashi. But like for most wrestlers, I wouldn't do that. And like we interact with wrestlers all the time. We meet them out and about, and I'm cool with that. I love it. We'll say what's up. But I've never asked a wrestler for an autograph. I've never asked a wrestler for a picture or anything. I've asked them like, yo, let me get your contact info so we can do a podcast. But that's like about it. But last year, our show was pretty new, and we got the bright idea. We're like, well, let's start asking some of these wrestlers to like do drops for us for the show, and that's how we've got some of these lovely intros that we got. We got one from like Rocky Romero, who was like awesome, Zack Sabre Jr., Juice, Scorpio Sky, all kinds of guys. Well, not everybody did it for free. Rocky didn't do it for free. In fact, Rocky, I'll tell you what, Rocky would have done it for free, but I actually gave him money because he was when I asked him, it wasn't like we were out and about. He was at his booth. So I was like, and no one else was there. And it's not that people weren't at his booth. The wrestling matches were going on, but he was chilling at his booth. So there wasn't a lot of people out there anyways. And I just walked up, said, what's up? And then I was like, I asked him, I was like, can I give you, whatever the amount of money he was asking for autographs, like, can I give you that money to do a drop? And he's like, oh, you don't have to give me money. He's like, you want an autograph? You want a picture? I was like, no, I just want you to do the drop. He's like, bro, I'll do the drop. So we came to an agreement, and he did it. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Anyways, Will Ospreay had a line later after the show, And I was like, dude, how cool would it be to get Will Ospreay to do this? So, like, I it was during intermission. It wasn't after the show. It was during intermission. It was during the Rev Pro show. So I waited in a line, and it was a long line, like a long line. So then I get to the end of the line, and like Will's busy. Understandably, he's like the top guy of like WrestleMania weekend, other than like Matt Riddle. It's a madhouse. But I was just like, I'm a pretty good talker, you know. I do sales for a living, like, you know, and I'm pretty cool with wrestlers. And I was like, and he's like, let's take a picture. And I was like, actually, I don't want to take a picture, and I don't want your autograph. I was just hoping that I was like, I do a New Japan podcast. I was hoping that maybe I could just get a drop, and I'd still give you the money. And he was like, oh no, I don't do podcasts. I never do podcasts. And I was like, oh no, I don't want you to do a podcast. I was like, it's okay. I was like, I just was gonna see if you'd want to do a drop. And he's like, mate. He like looked at me and he's like, mate, move the fuck along, move. And the way he said it to me, I was like really shocked because like people don't talk to me like that, and like he was a dick. Like he was literally a real life dick.
DIRL.
Yeah, a dick in real life, and we still praise him on the show all the time. Like he's top 5 wrestler, but like I've never had a wrestler talk to me like that ever, never, ever, ever, ever. And yeah, like I was kind of pissed. Like it hurt my feelings. Like I went back to my seat and I was like, did that just really fucking happen? Like the way that he said that to me, like he just shut me down. Like it was really rude. And I don't think I'm the first person who's ever said something like this about Will Ospreay.
Well, yeah. I've heard various stories of people having not the best interactions with him in public, and plus, you know, there are times when he kind of goes on Twitter and says something really stupid.
But like, Jeremy, I think you can vouch for me. Like, do I come off like some crazed stan?
No, I mean, out of all the social suplex guys, you're probably the least markiest of us all, you know.
Yeah, and I was like, bro, I was really respectful and really cool, and I would have been fine with him saying no. That was not the issue, because not everybody does podcasts, you know. And if any of these guys that we ever asked to do it said no problem. But it was the way he looked at me, and he was like he gave me the Shawn Michaels, get the fuck out of my ring.
Yeah,
this is my ring.
Get out of my face, jabroni.
Yeah, he called me a jabroni, bro. So that's what happened with me and Will Ospreay. Actually, a few weeks ago, I was on a group on Facebook, and I don't frequent this group, but they put a post out and they have a lot of members, and they're like, name one wrestler you've had a bad interaction with in life and tell me, like in real life, and tell me about it, like who it was and what happened. And there was like, bro, I'm telling you, there was probably like hundreds of comments, and it seemed like every 3 or 4 of them it was about Will Ospreay.
Wow.
So that's just what I'm saying. Like, I'm not the only person who's ever had this. I don't know anybody in this group, so I was like, apparently this happens a lot.
Yeah, incredible performer, but probably not the best person.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe who knows? He was wrestling a lot that week. He just came off that injury. Maybe he just wasn't having a good day. I can't say for sure.
Yeah, but back to the question. With all that being set aside, I still think he could be a long-term main event guy, or at least as long-term as his body lasts.
I was watching this match and I thought, like, he's going to be the IWGP champion.
Yeah.
I know last week when people asked us about his potential, I'd said, like, I thought that was his ceiling, but like now I'm like, maybe that's not his ceiling. Like, he came off like a bona fide, like, true, like, this guy has it sort of deal. So I think it's, well, 2 things I wanted to ask you. Like, what do you think about the fact that, A, they're saying that they see him based on his age and his athleticism and all that as being, like, the top guy, and then, B, what do you think about them still billing him as a junior?
So, as far as him kind of being, you know, top guy and top, you know, star bayface, I think he has the skill set it takes to be a top guy. I think with the style that he wrestles, I mean, he could, you know, reach that Kenny Omega level and reach out to Westerners. Hopefully he can provide a better fan experience to get to that popularity. But yeah, he has all the tools it takes to be a top guy. He has amazing matches. He can talk. He speaks English. Yeah, I mean, I'm all behind that. And then as far as them still building him as a junior, I think it's just kind of all part of the process and the transition of him becoming a heavyweight. And there have been a couple times where they have referred to him as open weight, and they've mentioned that he's literally a couple pounds away from meeting the heavyweight weight limit. I just think it's a kind of a great way to tell a story of somebody transitioning, instead of just all of a sudden one big match and then, this guy's a heavyweight now, without this kind of build and journey.
I agree with that, but I think that the whole narrative of like him just being a few pounds away is like coming from the English commentary side, but like from the Japanese side, it seems like they're still saying like this guy's a junior, and even Will has on during the post-match interviews mentioned how he is still a junior at this point in time. So I think it's just real interesting that they got him out here beating monsters.
And it could be, too, they're still calling him a junior because he's going to be in Best of Super Juniors.
I didn't think he was going to be in it this year. They might need him to be in it so that they can...
draw a house.
Oh, my God. What if they do, like... What if they wind up, for the finals, doing, like, him and Ishimori, like, junior title versus never title, like, and you know what I mean? They might have to do that.
Or you can do...
him and Shingo for real.
Yeah, him and Shingo
oh my God.
in the finals. And then Shingo wins the junior title. And
what about Hiromu?
Oh, dude, there's so many possibilities.
Yeah, you're right. That is a possibility. I didn't think of that, but I thought this match was great. I thought it was really, really great. What did you rate this?
4.5.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a question here from Reddit user, why did you do that, bro? He says, could Jay White drop the belt with 0 defenses at MSG? Do you think it would be too much hot potatoing if he did?
No. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but they've done it so many times. If you're familiar with the history behind, New Japan Pro Wrestling, it's not an unheard of thing for a guy to get their first IWGP title and then drop it right away. Naito pretty much did that. Okada did that. AJ Styles did that. They might have had one title defense, but not in all cases. The idea that someone had, and I mean, sure, this wasn't a title defense, quote unquote, but I mean, this kind of serves the purpose of the champion showing his dominance, so it's sort of an unofficial designation for what could have been a title defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It kind of feels like that. I wouldn't be surprised if Jay White dropped the belt at MSG. I wouldn't be surprised if he holds on to it for a while either, but yeah, no. They've done that many times.
Right. I definitely think there is very high chance of him dropping the belt at MSG. And I don't think it's too much hot potatoing. I mean, New Japan usually does a very good job of kind of spacing out their title runs. Some title runs are long, some are short. Not every title run is going to be this long, epic, year-long thing. Some reigns might last 6 months, some might last 3 months, some maybe a month. Some, 0 defenses, 2 defenses, 5 defenses. So all title reigns are different, and I like that about New Japan. So if he were to lose the belt at MSG, I wouldn't consider it a problem, because whoever beats him will probably have a pretty lengthy reign until the next champion's crowned.
I agree. I also wanted, I didn't want to forget this portion of the question. The question before that, he'd mentioned that there's not a Japanese superstar on the horizon. But it's like they have like 6 Japanese superstars right now. And I'm not saying that that's an excuse, but it's like they got Tanahashi, they got Okada, they got Suzuki, they got Ibushi, they got Naito. Who am I missing?
I mean, those are the kind of the main.
Those are like 5 main guys.
And then you have, you talk about up and comers. I mean, Evil and Sonata.
Yeah, I was gonna say Evil and Sonata are like the next few
guys that they are pushing.
But then beyond that, like, you have Shingo lurking. You got Hiromu lurking if he comes back.
Ishimori.
Well, as a heavyweight.
Not as a heavyweight, but he's a star though.
That's true, but I think he's talking more about heavyweights.
Yeah.
But then you also have to consider we have this incredible class of young lions, and someone is bound to break out. So I don't think we really have to worry too much about there being a lack or a dearth of Japanese talent being pushed. This is still New Japan Pro Wrestling. They're still going to push Japanese talent. So, I don't think that's anything to be worried about.
All right, so that wraps up the 47th anniversary review. Now let's jump into the New Japan Cup.
Let's talk about these tag matches.
In the sake of time and for your guys' entertainment, we are not really going to be talking about the tag matches. We're going to be focusing on the tournament matches.
I only watched the tag matches. So let's do this. We will cover each night, but we will give you a brief rundown of what happened with the tag matches. So on March 8th, the opening night of the New Japan Cup, Bad Luck Fale, Hikuleo, Taiji Ishimori defeated Will Ospreay, Mikey Nichols, and Rocky Romero via Ishimori Bloody Cross on Romero, 6 minutes and 53 seconds. Minoru Suzuki and Killer Elite Squad defeated Satoshi Kojima, Toru Yano, and Toa Henare at 8 minutes and 12 seconds. Evil and Bushi defeated Zack Sabre Jr. and Taka Michinoku. That's a junior tag team. Zack Sabre Jr. and Taka Michinoku at 5 minutes and 8 seconds. So Evil and Bushi picking up the win there. Tetsuya Naito and Sanada and Shingo Takagi. Wow, what a team, dude.
Yeah.
Defeated Kota Ibushi, Hiroki Goto, and Sho. And then Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada, and Togi Makabe and Hiroyoshi Tenzan defeated Michael Elgin, Shota Umino, Colt Cabana, and Ryosuke Taguchi. And then afterwards, a video package was played showing Rev Pro's El Phantasmo, and at the end of the video, the Bullet Club logo appeared.
Yeah, so we're getting another junior in Bullet Club, El Phantasmo. He won the Rev Pro Super J Cup.
The British J Cup.
British J Cup. Talented guy. He's coming into New Japan. I'm assuming he'll debut in Best of Super Juniors and join Bullet Club.
Yeah, and you had actually speculated to me earlier this week. I was like, well, why are they bringing in another junior? They got Eagles and Ishimori. And you were like, well, what if they did Eagles and El Phantasmo as like a Gaijin Bullet Club like junior tag team? And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Or even just having him more full-time than Eagles.
That's a possibility, too. So, earlier someone asked us, like, well, what's a team that could possibly challenge? It's like, well, the Bullet Club's got 3 juniors now, so they might have somebody to kind of run it with. Before we move on, what did you think about Naito leaving the IC title in the middle of the ring at the end of his match?
It was kind of weird, because he's been saying he wants to be the first guy to hold the IC title and the IWGP Heavyweight title at the same time, and he's been kind of treating the belt with a little bit more respect since he won it at Wrestle Kingdom in January. It was kind of weird that he just left the belt there.
Yeah, I don't know. Weird. But we got the first match of the New Japan Cup, first round match. Yoshihashi taking on Manabu Nakanishi.
Yeah, this wasn't, great. Nakanishi.
What do you mean it wasn't great? This was so great. Nakanishi was high flying out here, man.
Dude, Nakanishi, he tried and worked really hard, but
topes, planchas.
Dude, he hit the worst plancha that I'd ever seen in my whole life.
Would you call? I don't think you can call that a plancha.
He literally jumped over the rope, jumped on the apron, he tripped over the rope, fell on the apron, and then fell on Yoshihashi.
I think he realized he didn't want to do it. He was mid-air and he was like, nah, I'm gonna bail.
Yeah.
He threw a flag on the play, literally. Yeah. He flagged, bro.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna take this bump, hardest part of the ring, fall into Yoshihashi.
Yeah.
And it was smart. He preserved himself.
Dude, yeah, he tried, but he did not succeed. And
he did a suplex off the second rope.
Yeah.
He did a cross body off the top.
Yeah, he was trying to hit some high spots, and try to make a big effort here, but yeah, I mean, it was a fine little opening match, but it was nothing special, nothing spectacular.
I'm not going to criticize Nakanishi or Tenzan because I've done that in the past and I've been lambasted for it. So I'm just going to let their work speak for itself. So next time I if anyone like tries to like criticize me for like saying that these guys shouldn't be in singles matches, I'm just gonna put up a gif of him like doing that plancha. No, I'm just playing. But
yeah, eventually Yoshihashi gets the win here with the butterfly lock. He taps out Nakanishi.
With all that said, I still thought Nakanishi should win.
Oh man, so yeah,
I thought it was like not good, but like in a crazy car crash kind of way. This was kind of entertaining. Like it was an oddity.
I was laughing at all the stuff that Nakanishi was doing.
Like I enjoyed this match for what it was. So the second match of the first round, we got Taichi taking on Tomoyoki Hanma. 17 minutes and 56 seconds. What the heck, bro?
Bro, this match, it felt like it went on forever. It was so slow, and it was...
What did you think about Taichi coming through the crowd like he's Roman Reigns?
Well, I think he was
trying...
I think he was trying to be Iska.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he now has he's the owner now of the Iron Glove.
He had the satchel on, but he did not have the Iron Glove. That was interesting.
Yeah.
We did have Miho Abe, though.
Yes, that was good. Lucky crowd members there, seeing her come through the crowd.
The lucky crowd.
But yeah, I always wondered, it made me think about a comment that you mentioned. Like, is Taichi going to be, like, turned into a madman? Like, he's starting to, like, he has the glove. He's coming through the crowd. Like, is he, like, can go into, like, this madness and, like, totally change up his character?
I don't know. We did get dueling Taichi chants in the beginning, so like the go home Taichi and then the negative or the positive ones, which is interesting. But yeah, bro, this match 17 minutes. Why?
Yeah, this match did not need to go this long. Like we've mentioned several times on this show, Hanma hasn't been looking great since he's returned from injury, and didn't look all that great here.
I mean, like, Hanma really worked hard, and did like a second rope like Kokeshi, sit out tombstone pile driver. I mean, like, he was really trying hard, but like I'm still scared watching him wrestle, and I don't care. And yeah, this was, and then they put him in there with Taichi, bro. Like, if you want to like try to showcase Hanma in some way, like, I don't know that Taichi's the dude you do it with. So no. I just thought it was very... The one thing I will say about this tournament is, like, the matches that are going to be great have been great, but the matches that you think might not be so great have kind of lived up to that, too.
Yeah.
There's been no, like, oh, my God, I thought this was going to suck, and it blew me away. It's like, nah, everything that you kind of knew was going to be bad was bad, and this was not good.
But Taichi did hit a very nasty-looking backdrop driver to win this match.
Yeah, but I was scared.
I know, that's why I was like... Dropped that man right on his neck, and yeah, didn't look too good. The move looked good, but just the fact of Hanma landing on his neck was not good. So a backdrop driver, and then he fought Dragon Sleeper, taps out.
Emperor's Crucifix Tomb. And he moved to the second round. The next match, we got the crown jewel of the Bullet Club, Chase Owens taking on Juice Robinson.
Yeah, the bracket buster match right here. The IWGP US Champ versus the crown jewel Chase Owens. This was a pretty solid matchup here between Juice and Owens.
I enjoyed this a lot.
Yeah, I mean, not that often we get to see Chase Owens wrestle in a long matchup like this. So this match went 24 minutes. I thought
it was a little too long.
It did go a little too long. I think they were just trying to showcase both of these guys and give them a lot and wrestle that New Japan style main event length kind of matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of cut to the chase. I felt like Juice was kind of dominant, and they needed to do that because they were going to put Chase over. Chase did not. I mean, yeah, he had near falls, but I didn't think he was winning. even though like a lot of people had like the curveball brackets, I know you had one, but I just didn't think Chase was winning. And then he put him up for the like package, and I was like, oh, Chase is about to win.
Yeah, that man came out with new gear.
Yeah, he did come out with new gear.
You know, usually when wrestlers...
He's in a little bit better shape, too. He's like lost a little bit of weight. He's looking a little trim. He's looking a little jacked. Vascular.
But yeah, you know, usually when wrestlers come out with the new gear, they're usually going over.
You're not Chase Owens. You're the crown jewel.
Yeah, man, hit him with that package pile driver, put him away, and gets the big win. So one can assume that Chase Owens will be in line for a IWGP US Championship match. And I know we were kind of talking about this match off air, and you said you weren't happy that Chase won. One of the guys who have been carrying the Chase banner all year since we've been doing this show.
Bro, why are you exposing my gimmick like your name is Ronda Rousey, bro?
I'm going off script.
You stupid Marks, you know he doesn't really like Chase Owens. It's all fake. It's all scripted. My God, who even wants to see that crap? Anyways, nah, man, I'm happy for Chase getting the push. I'm all for it. But here's my main thing. Chase is gonna probably get a title shot. I don't know where it's gonna happen. Maybe it's at Madison Square Garden. Maybe it's not. But it seems to me like it's Madison Square Garden. Sure, Chase Owens is getting a push, but like, should he already be getting a title shot like at Madison Square Garden? My view is you got Ishii and Nagata in the next round. Why not elevate the title and have Ishii be Juice? That seems to make a little bit more sense to me. And sure, like maybe Chase doesn't win this match, but maybe you make Chase look good in defeat, and then you give him a push a little bit later on afterwards. There's still time to do that. Instead, what's going to happen here, I think a lot of people think like this Chase Owens like push is going somewhere, and like, you know where it's going. It's going to him getting beat by Juice, and then he's going to jump back to the back of the line. This is not a real push.
Well, and you know, you're kind of assuming that he's getting the title shot at Madison Square Garden.
I don't know that he is.
I know.
It could be at one of these Road 2 shows.
And it could be a Ring of Honor guy that's getting a title shot against Juice at Madison Square Garden.
It absolutely could be. I'm guessing, but the whole idea here is that Chase Owens beat Juice so he could get a title shot, right? Mm-hmm. It makes sense because they're both U.S. guys, or they're both like Gaijin, both U.S. guys. This is what they like to do. This is kind of the idea of this title, and it kind of does make sense. But like ultimately, whether it happens at MSG, whether it happens in Japan, whether it just happens at an ROH TV taping in Lakeland, I don't know. But I just don't. I think that they could have
built it better.
The other thing too is like Juice is looking like a jabroni, bro. Like, I don't think I'm all for Chase beating a top guy and stuff, and I know you can't have it both ways, but like, I just don't. I wouldn't have booked it personally. I wouldn't have booked it this way. That's just all I mean. I'm not saying this is the worst thing in the world. It's really not. Like, Gato's a good booker. It's whatever. But like, Juice just came off that terrible G1. He just won the belt, and it's like
in a not so great match.
Yeah, in a not great match, and it's not like him and Dave Finlay set the world on fire during the World Tag League. I mean, like, I don't know. Like,
well, he did have the defense against Beretta at the U.S. show, which apparently
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet, but apparently it's a good match.
It doesn't matter. Nobody saw it. Might as well be a house show. So that's my thinking. But like, hats off to Chase Owens for like winning here. I just was really surprised by it. I didn't think that they're gonna have Juice lose.
Yeah, I mean, very surprising. A lot of people predicted Juice winning. There were a few people like me and a couple other people on their brackets who had the upset win of Chase going over Juice. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when or even if they set up this future U.S. title match.
So I'm getting on to my third vanilla porter at this point. So if my takes on the show start to get really bad, you'll know why.
So now we move on to the main event of night 1, Yuji Nagata versus Tomohiro Ishii, and this was an incredible matchup.
This is my second favorite match of the tournament so far, and this is my leading candidate right now for Strong Style Fight of the Year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this was exactly what you expected from these guys. Both guys delivered in an absolutely great main event. Similar to Liger, Nagata turned the hands back on Father Time, and this was like peak Nagata here, and these guys just kill each other. It was a violent, hard-hitting match. Nagata showing why he is so great, why he's a legend, why he's respected, and it just did a great job of highlighting Nagata and also highlighting Ishii.
Yeah, this was every bit as good as those incredible 2015, 2016 never title matches that we were seeing back in the day. Those matches with Hanma and Ishii, Shibata, Nagata, and all these different guys, Goto, and this match was right in that line. The other thing too is this is the best Nagata match we've seen since his run in the G1 2 years ago, and I mean this was every bit as good as those matches that he had during that run, and I mean he hasn't lost a step. Ishii was the perfect opponent. Ishii and him just battering one another, just having such a perfect sense of timing, when to sell, when to bumble, when to go hard. There was so much violence in this match. I loved this.
Yeah, I love it, and just some of the no sells at certain points, like kicking out of one out of big moves.
Nagata got his mouth busted open.
Yeah.
I loved this match. It's a high recommendation. I would recommend the Juice and Chase Owens match as well, but this match was in a different league altogether. I mean, this was far beyond that. I really, really like this match.
Yeah, and towards the end here, Nagata drops a knee pad, but runs into a lariat, but he kicks out at 1. Enziguri by Ishii, then he hits the sliding D, gets 2, and then he hits the brain buster, and Nagata finally stays down for the count. So yeah, man, this is...
Yeah, there's not a lot to say. I mean, here's what I have to say. Headbutts, mid kicks,
forearm, chops
to the throat, to the back, to the neck, suplexes, Saito suplexes. This was
back suplex.
Yeah, it was violent, bro. This is violent,
dude.
I loved it.
If you have not seen this match,
Go out of your way and see it.
As soon as you finish listening to this show, go out there, fire up your New Japan World, and watch this match.
It was great. So Ishii is moving on. So at this point, the second round matches coming out of this night: Taichi versus Tomohiro Ishii, Yoshihashi versus Chase Owens.
Yeah, and we had a question, or not a question. Well, actually, had a question from Rich. He says, "Can we get Yuji Nagata an annual IWGP challenge until he can't do it anymore?"
No, because we only get so many title defenses as it is. But yeah, I mean, he probably could still put on an incredible IWGP title match as it is right now.
Yeah.
How old is he? He's in his 50s.
Yeah. But he's definitely somebody that you could throw in a never open weight title match. You can throw him in an IC title match. Heck, you can even put him maybe even a U.S. title match.
You can put him in any situation. The guy can go.
Yeah.
Bottom line. Yuji Nagata turned 50 this year, so yeah. He's saying he wants to wrestle till he's 70.
And
it's crazy.
At this rate, he can still do it.
It's crazy. But yeah, I really enjoyed this night. I thought it was really good. The main event just really delivered.
Yeah.
So
real quick, we had a statement here from our boy Imp from LLP.
He's from a different network. Let's move on.
Hey, he voted for you in the Twitter poll.
He's a smart man.
But all he said was, "Damn you, Chase Owens, for ruining my 100% bracket."
Oh.
So one of those guys who
Bro, your bracket's doing well, huh?
Dude, my bracket is looking real nice right now.
I didn't do a bracket this year.
Slacking.
Yeah.
All right, take us on to night 2.
Night 2. First round match, Lance Archer versus Toa Henare.
Yeah.
Short and sweet, 11 minutes, and Lance Archer defeats Toa Henare via the blackout. And I mean, this match was like pretty similar to like most of the big challenges that Henare's had. You know, a big challenge that he's not equipped to actually overcome. He charges at them full-heartedly, but just gets demolished. And that's kind of what we saw here. And I mean, he had his moments, but Archer kind of just took it to him.
Yeah, they really highlighted Archer in this match. He had a beautiful pounce towards the end of the match on Toa Henare. I've always been a big fan of that move.
Yeah. Although it's better when
the alpha male or AC Romero.
AC Baby, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's like the one who really popularized it.
Yeah. Well, no, it started with the alpha male Monty Brown in Impact.
Nah, that guy, he's not even real.
What? Dude, I love Monty Brown.
Monty Brown sucks. They need to put him in the TNA Hall of Fame this year. Just because they need to go back and like put forgotten TNA wrestlers like into the Hall of Fame. Like Monty Brown. Who else could they put in there? Like someone that like
Sonny Siaki.
Yeah, like who's that?
No, but yeah, this was a fine matchup here. Archer finally getting a win in the first round of the New Japan Cup. It's been years since
Bizarro World.
Yeah, this was the one match that screwed up my bracket. My bracket would be perfect right now if it wasn't for this matchup here.
I think you were gonna pick Archer, and I think I convinced you to pick Henare.
No, I picked Henare before we even recorded.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did my bracket like days before we recorded.
I thought I was influential. Okay, never mind.
Not this time. I learned my lesson. Not to let you influence me on picks. But yeah,
I mean, this was really not. This was kind of a nothing match. It was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't. It wasn't.
It's skippable.
The night before, everything kind of had a place and had something. This was a nothing match. I mean, I was like a two-star match.
Yeah.
The next match of the night, we got the debuting Mikey Nicholls taking on Hikuleo. And Mikey Nicholls picks up the win, 8 minutes, 57 seconds via the Mikey Bomb.
Yeah, a.k.a. Blue Thunder Bomb. And this was a fine match. Nothing out of this world. Hikuleo, I want to say he has improved from the last time he was in New Japan.
You know what? People used to bury this man and say crap about him, but like we've always been a friend of Hikuleo. We always say, this man's new. And he's getting better. And every time we see him, he's getting better. He's not blowing the world away, but, he's getting better
There's
every
a clear
time.
difference. If you watch the last match that he had in New Japan, you can tell it's one of those situations where he was always in multi-man matches, and he would have his brothers or other veterans kind of guiding him through the match, kind of telling him what to do, where to be at, how to react. Here, he was in a one-on-one match. He hung on his own. He looked like he knew what he was doing. He looked like an actual competent wrestler.
I thought it was a very strange choice to put Mikey Nicholls and Hikuleo, a debuting wrestler against basically the equivalency of a young lion, but a monster young lion. It just was a weird choice.
Yeah, we did have a question about that, reference that from Twitter user @Falcon_McCramsey. He says, do you guys think it would have been better to not put Hikuleo, a guy the crowd doesn't seem to care about, with Mikey Nicholls, a guy the crowd aren't 100% familiar with?
The crowd didn't care about this match at all.
No.
At all. At no point did they care. Like, it wasn't like, they didn't care and then they got into it. They were silent the whole time.
Yeah.
So, I think it was weird.
Another question here from Reddit user Asahi Yojimbo. He says, what's your read on Mikey Nicholls? Ishimori, Takagi, Switchblade, and El Phantasmo on some level were promoted in advance, whereas Mikey just got announced as a tournament entry when the brackets were posted.
So he's asking us what our opinions of Mikey Nicholls are at this point?
Yeah, his debut and just, kind of coming out of nowhere.
Well, I want to say this first. I don't know what your name means, but Yojimbo is one of my favorite movies of all time, so great name. If it's referencing Yojimbo, it's a great movie. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You made your feelings pretty well. Oh, that was on the game. We discussed Mikey Nicholls on the
the Ricky and Clive Quiz Invitational.
Yeah, and you said that you didn't really like what was his name?
Nick Miller. Yeah, I mean,
every time I hear Nick Miller, I think of New Girl.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously between him and Shane Thorne, clearly Shane Thorne is the Shawn Michaels of the team, and Nick Miller is the Marty Jannetty.
So he's the better one.
No.
Yeah.
Shane Thorne was the star of that duo. He has the most charisma. He's a better in-ring worker. And to me, Mikey Nicholls is a jag. To me, there's nothing special about Mikey Nicholls. Nothing came off the screen for me when I saw him wrestling anytime in NXT, the Largo Loop, or here in this match here in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
You know, I'll just say this. I thought both, like, the guys from the Mighty Don't Kneel were kind of the same way. That's not to say that they weren't good. I thought they were both really, really good. But I just thought that they were, you know, a tag team. They were tag team guys. There was nothing beyond that really, like, stuck out. I mean, Shane Thorne did not stick out to me more than Mikey Nicholls. They were pretty even to me. They were just like, it was like, oh, they're a tag team. As far as this match goes, I mean, time will tell with Mikey Nicholls here in New Japan. I think the whole thing has been super random. I mean, the guy got a tweet from Rocky, and then he's part of Chaos, you know?
Yeah.
So it's weird. I think that this wasn't the best, like, choice of match that you could do to try to get him over. But at the same time, like, you want to give Mikey Nicholls a debut win, and who's he going to beat on the New Japan roster in his, like, opening match, you know? So maybe that's why they gave him Hikuleo.
Yeah. And I think the reason why they didn't do, like, a promo video or try to hype up the coming of Mikey Nicholls, I think part of it had to do with just the way how he left WWE. You know, he told those guys that he was leaving to spend more time with his family in Australia, and then next thing you know, he's signed to New Japan.
You know what that means?
What?
He's dripping in finesse.
Yeah, that man was tired of doing jobs.
That man's finessing out here.
Yeah, tired of doing jobs in Winter Park and was ready to get back into Japan.
So so he picks up the win over Hikuleo, moves on to the second round. Next match, we got Will Ospreay, the assassin, not the aerial assassin, just the assassin. Wasn't he trying to call himself the Sky God or the Sky King?
At one point, I think he was, yeah.
But now he's the assassin. This dude needs to, like, pick a gimmick and pick, like, a name for his moves. But Will Ospreay defeating also someone who needs to pick a lane, like, because he's not the underboss anymore. What, he's the general now?
The Rogue General.
The Rogue General, Bad Luck Fale. And what did you think here?
So this was a very interesting match here. You had Will Ospreay having to battle against the big man, Bad Luck Fale, and just trying to overcome the power and the strength advantage of Fale. I mean, and Ospreay, he wasn't backing down from this guy. He went, as soon as the bell rang, jumped into Fale and was striking him. And then, you know, they played the classic big man, little man match here with Fale kind of outpowering Ospreay throughout the match, working the nerve pinch hole. But then you have Ospreay firing back, showing some great babyface fire here, escaping out of the grenade and just doing a lot of offense. And then Fale pulled the ref in the way of the Oz Cutter. Red Shoes takes the big bump, and then Jado comes in with a kendo shot. Jado gets in the ring, but then Ospreay fights him off and gets the kendo stick and beats the crap out of Fale with the kendo stick. He then hits the Robinson Special, goes for the Oz Cutter, but it's blocked. Big spear by Fale, followed up by the grenade for a great near fall. Ospreay kicks out the last second, but then Ospreay counters out of the Bad Luck Fall into a Hurricane Rana cradle for the big win.
Yeah, an upset win.
Yeah, I mean, Bad Luck Fale is a guy that traditionally does well in these New Japan Cup tournaments.
He's never not made it out of the first round.
Yeah, and so this just shows you how invested they are in Will Ospreay and the push that they're giving this guy. He's beating established heavyweights in big matches everywhere he goes. obviously this wasn't a crazy 4-star, 5-star special.
I thought this match kind of sucked.
I mean,
I thought it was bad.
I mean, it was fine.
If I'll say this, if Fale had won, then what people would have been saying, they would have been like talking about how terrible this was, just like his G1 matches. The only reason people aren't saying that sort of thing is because Ospreay beat him.
Yeah.
Like, other than that, like, there was so much shenanigans and so much interference and so much bull crap. But it is interesting that Ospreay picked up the win over Bad Luck Fale, and like, Fale doesn't lay down for everybody.
Yeah. So yeah, just shows
crazy.
Just shows you the trajectory that Will Ospreay's on in this company.
I thought Will was definitely losing here, and when someone asked earlier like who we could see him like potentially getting challenged for the Never title, I thought Bad Luck Fale and Will Ospreay made a lot of sense as a title program. Not that I want to see Will Ospreay and Bad Luck Fale wrestle. I don't want to see Fale wrestle anybody, but it kind of made sense to me because they've had him beat monster after monster after monster, and then maybe like he runs into a true super heavyweight that he can't overcome right after he, got beat by the IWGP champion, and then I don't know, that story just makes a lot of sense to me. Mm-hmm. But they decided to go another way here, and they're like, nope, screw that. He's beaten Fale. He can beat monsters, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, the rocket is strapped to this man.
Yeah.
He's going straight to the moon.
And then we got the main event of the second night. Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker, taking on Big Michael Elgin. And they put on a great match. 24 minutes, 6 seconds.
Yeah, and I will say this match, it did kind of start out slow. These guys...
Very methodical.
Yeah, a very slow-paced, methodical style. And then they kind of built towards the end.
The ending was great. I mean, we got one of those classic... Okada finishing sequences, Elgin as well. Both these guys are known for, having incredible closing sequences, and I mean, this was great.
Yeah, I mean, it started off slow, built into a war. As the match went on, the crowd got more invested. Elgin looked really good here. This is the first time we're really seeing him in one-on-one action since returning from injury, and we know him and Okada always have great matches, but tonight was not his night. There was no, first round upsets for Elgin this year. Came down towards the end where Elgin hits a buckle bomb, but Okada countered back out, and they trade counters. Backfist by Elgin, and Okada goes down. Okada counters a second buckle bomb and hits a tombstone. Then he hits the Rainmaker on Elgin to finish him off. So the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, advances in a very good match here. A lot of great spots. There's some great suplexes from both guys here. Okada at one point during the match did Elgin's powerbomb sequence to him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, these are two guys that have a lot of chemistry. They've wrestled numerous times. I did like this match better than their G1 match from this past year. They wrestled on night 10 of the G1, and I'll always remember that because I thought night 10 sucked really bad. Like, that was like one of my breaking points where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get through this G1. But this match was really good. I didn't think it was on the level that Ishii and Nagata was, but that's not to say that this wasn't a really good match. I mean, it was a fitting, main event for the second night, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and it ended up being a great matchup.
And I mean, it did end up, it did start out slow, but I mean, these guys are just so good. Elgin, man, is so good, bro. Say what you want about him, say about the controversies and everything like that, but this, to me, and I may be wrong, it's weird because I almost classify him as a super heavyweight, but he's not.
Yeah.
But when you compare him to his contemporaries, so Jeff Cobb and Rusev and Moose and all these kind of very similar guys, I don't know anyone that's as good at that style of wrestling than Elgin is.
Yeah, he's very good.
My only complaint about him is that he does so much, he does too much. He's the super heavyweight Young Bucks. He's like a spot fest machine at the end of his matches.
Well, I think it's because, he doesn't get these big matches all the time, and so when he's out there, he
goes all out.
He has to go balls to the wall.
Yeah, and I see that now, like, and he does go, like, balls to the wall, but, like, every time putting in the big spot, like, he always delivers. Unfortunately, he's not moving on. Okada's going to be moving on, but, yeah, I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, good stuff. So that brings us to night 3 of the New Japan Cup. The first tournament matchup was
Classic.
Risque Taguchi taking on Hiroshi Tenzan.
Go out of your way to see this. You must see this match.
If you're a big fan of Taguchi, you should definitely see this match. It was a great way to kind of kick off the tournament matches for the night. I don't think people...
It was fine.
Yeah, I don't think people really knew what to expect with Taguchi and Tenzan here. With Taguchi replacing the injured David Finlay, who's going to be out for 6 months for torn labrum.
That sucks.
Yeah, bad break for Finlay there. But yeah, this was a fine match. Pure Taguchi antics. During the multi-man matches, they were building up kind of heat between Taguchi and Tenzan, where Taguchi would ask for the double fist bump, and Tenzan would fall for it, and then Taguchi would attack him. So that spot played in several points throughout this match. Towards the end, Tenzan went for a top rope headbutt for a near fall. Then Taguchi counters into a cradle out of nowhere and picks up the win. And
you called it, man.
Taguchi, the Gooch.
Yep.
He wants to be the 69th IWGP champion.
The coach has a vision, and he's gonna see it come to pass. We're gonna see Ryusuke Taguchi versus Jay White headlining Madison Square Garden.
Oh my gosh. But yeah,
the house that Bruno built.
I didn't think there was a great chance for Tenzan Wan to work multiple one-on-one matches in this tournament. He did his little one-on-one match here and got out of there.
It makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, I was like, well, you never know. They might have Tenzan go on a little run, but they went with Taguchi, and we're probably better off for it. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Then, next up, we had Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Shota Umino.
I freaking adore this match.
Yes,
this match was awesome.
Yeah, this was a great matchup here. I'm sure a lot of people were expecting Tanahashi to just go in there and squash Umino, but that was not the case. Tanahashi gave Umino a lot. Clearly he was still dominant and the veteran guy leading the charge in the match, but Umino looked great. Umino had a lot of fire. Umino took it to Tanahashi.
Yeah, this was so good, man. Like, Umino already, as a young lion, has like 3 or 4 signature matches that you can point to and be like, oh, wow, he's great. His match with Nagata, his match with Shingo, his match with Sakamoto, and now his match with and the match he just had last month. Who did he wrestle at the Ring of Honor show?
Oh yeah,
was it Marty?
Yeah, or did Mario? No, Mario wrestled Narita.
Zack Sabre.
Yeah, Sabre, and now the match with Tanahashi. He's got like 5 like incredible singles matches. So yeah, like Shota Umino is gonna be something. Like, people keep wondering, like, what's he gonna be? What's he gonna do? I don't know the answer to that, but like, this guy is gonna be a star. Yeah, man, has potential to be a top main event guy when he gets back from excursion, and he made the most of this opportunity here, battling the Ace, man. There's just so much fire in this guy, man.
Yeah, the crowd ate it up. They were so into this. There was one point where he hit Tanahashi with 34 forearms. Me and Rich literally sat there and counted. And we were like, oh my God. The slaps.
Yeah, dude, there was a big slap that dropped Tanahashi towards the end of the match.
It was freaking violent, but like the real story had a lot to do with the Boston Crab and also the Cloverleaf. When there was a point in the match where Shota Umino stole the Texas Cloverleaf and put it on Tanahashi, and I thought he put it on Tanahashi better than Tanahashi puts it on anybody. I actually don't think Tanahashi puts the Cloverleaf on very, very well at all.
Well, he does a elevated
I hate it. I hate it.
Cloverleaf.
I hate his elevated cloverleaf. It looks like crap.
I don't know. It looks pretty painful.
In this match, it looked really painful, but I think that's due to like the size of Shota Umino. In most cases, I think it doesn't look like anything at all. But that's just my take, anyways. But yeah, like Umino, like kind of did he did a finisher stealer. You know, he hit that.
He hit the Y button or triangle for you PlayStation guys, and hit the finisher stealer. Yeah.
But this match was great, man. Like there was so much. As far as violence, action, and things like that, it wasn't in the same league as, say, like Ishii, Nagata, or we'll talk about it, but Ibushi and like Naito. But from like a pure storytelling standpoint, this was the best story of the tournament so far.
Right, you know, the fiery young lion, you know, the deck stick against him, and just trying to fight off, you know, the ace of the universe. And
he gave him a run for his money, bro.
Yeah, dude. He got several near falls, and the crowd was actually chanting for him and not Tanahashi. I thought that was very interesting. You know, it came down towards the end where
that's because the fans are fickle.
Fickle. Umino, him and Tanahashi were trading strikes. Then Tana goes for a sling blade, but Umino cuts him off. A big slap from Umino that drops Tanahashi. Falls up with a suplex. He goes to the top, hits a missile drop kick for a near fall. Then he locks on the Boston Crab. Tanahashi makes it to the ropes. Then Umino puts him in the cloverleaf. Tana makes it to the ropes again. Umino unloads with vicious strikes. Tanahashi cuts him off with a twist and shout. Then the cloverleaf is counted into a cradle by Umino for a crazy near fall. Crazy reaction from the crowd. They popped hues for that near fall. But then Tanahashi was eventually able to get him back into the cloverleaf, and Umino had no choice but to submit to the ace.
Yeah, I kind of thought he was going to get to the ropes there, but I was like, he's got to tap. So, great story, great match. This is the best Shota Umino match so far, I think. I think it was better than the Zack Sabre match, and I thought it was better than the Shingo match.
Yeah.
It was so good.
It was.
Go out of your way to watch this match.
Then we had, actually, we have a question here from Reddit user Zack Saber Time. He says, an Umino versus Tanahashi question here. At the end of the month, Umino wanted more. At the end of the match, Umino wanted more, but Tana shoves him down and goes on to celebrate. The commentary didn't mention anything about this. How do you guys see this? I think this could be a fuel for a feud post-excursion where Umino thinks it was a sign of disrespect, but Tana says he did it respectfully.
Umino did mention something very similar to. It's great that you picked up on that, and I you know what? It's great that we're mentioning this because there was a shot at the end of that match where Tanahashi's just in the crowd and he's like, you know, slapping hands and, you know, wiping the towels on his body and, you know, being jubilant and, you know, celebrating with the fans. And then you just see Shota Umino and he's hanging on the ropes and he's crawling. And, like, the visual is so powerful. And, like, Rich pointed out to me, and I was like, bro, like, this is a moment that is they're going to call back to this.
Yeah.
For sure. So, I think you have a great point. Also, Shota Umino mentioned something about this. He said that he's like, I'm going to come back, I'm going to retire this guy. So, like, you're like, I don't know if I'm misquoting him, but he said something to that effect where it sounded like, oh, crap. Like, he's coming, like Tanahashi has lit something in this dude, and like I could totally see a generational match coming up in the future between these guys.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to post excursion Umino whenever that happens. Then we have Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Evil, renewing the rivalry that these guys have been having over the last year.
At 15 minutes 34 seconds, Zack Sabre Jr. wins via the hurrah. Another year. Surely this one will be better than the last. The inexorable march of progress will lead us to all happiness. What the what kind of name is that for a finisher?
You know Sabre and his finisher names. But yeah, these guys have developed great chemistry over all a series of matches that they've been having against each other.
I hate their matches.
Really?
I didn't like the last one. I didn't like this one. I think they should. Yeah, maybe I'm being contrarian. I don't know, but like people seem to like their matches, but I just don't.
I like this match. I thought it was, in the 4-star range here.
What?
Yeah.
No way. I didn't.
I don't know. I really
4 stars?
Yeah.
I'll have to rewatch it, bro.
I don't know. I thought it was very good. Sabre had a lot of great submission counters and a lot of mat wrestling here. And I thought Evil looked great here.
Yeah, no, I was a lot lower on this. I was like 3.5, 3.25. I didn't love it. I just did not love this match. I'm glad that Zack Sabre picked up the win. I think he's the guy that needs to kind of move on. Being the champion of last year's tournament makes a lot of sense. It helps him to kind of avenge the whole Evil thing from last month. But I kind of want him to move on from Evil because I personally, maybe I'm wrong. Like, maybe I'm crazy here. I don't think they have great chemistry. I think that they are wonky together for whatever reason, and their matches are kind of like slow and plodding, and like they don't mesh well.
I don't know. I think this match, I don't know. It's maybe how I saw it. I saw something different. I don't know. I feel like this is one of the better matches that they've had, and I think they've learned to work really well with their different styles.
I thought this was better than I hated last month's match, and I like tolerated this one. So that's where I'm at. But I don't think I'll ever love the... And you know what's weird? I really got sucked into the story of Zack Sabre and Evil, but the matches have never delivered for me.
And I thought that there was a great closing sequence in this match.
The closing sequence... You're right. The closing sequence was excellent, regardless of what I thought about the match overall. And you know what? I felt the same way last month. I thought the closing sequence was really good. But yeah, absolutely. The closing sequence here is really good.
So like you mentioned, Sabre taps out Evil, gets the win, moves on to the next round. Also, I noted that Sabre, he's wearing his Rev Pro British Championship match on this tour.
You mean title?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now we get to...
Maybe they're going to set up a future title shot?
Yeah. Maybe he'll defend the Rev Pro belt at MSG against somebody, maybe.
Could be.
But now the main event of night 3, Kota Ibushi versus Tetsuya Naito. This match was freaking amazing. This match was insane, crazy, wild. Dude, I freaking love this main event.
I know you do.
Dude, I was freaking marking out, screaming, popping over everything, dude.
I had already watched this match earlier in the day, and then I took a nap. I woke up and I hear you screaming. I was like, oh, he's watching Ibushi Naito. But, I thought this match was excellent. I don't think I was quite as high as you are on it, but I really wouldn't argue with anybody who has a match rating on this because this match was incredible.
Yeah, dude, amazing. I'm throwing 5 snowflakes on this bad boy. Dude, just the crazy things they did in this match. Freaking Naito sits out tombstone pile drivers, Ibushi on the freaking apron, on this man's, already previously hurt neck. All the crazy head bumps, and they were doing the crazy strikes. Ibushi with his high-flying offense. Like, this match was phenomenal.
Yes. If this was violent. This was really crazy. We've seen these guys have 2 G1 matches in consecutive years. Both matches were incredible, and then this kind of felt like a third follow-up, like in the trilogy of matches with one another. Each one has been, exponentially more dangerous and violent, and these matches always deliver. Like, Ibushi and Naito have a lot of chemistry together. These guys are great. I think I was like 4.5. Well, I don't know. I was very in between 4.5, 4.25. I didn't feel like this was 5 stars, but anyone that tells me that it is, I'm not going to really argue with you because I think you could probably convince me there's a pretty good case for it. I just didn't know if this particular show on this particular night with these particular circumstances warranted that. I think that they do have another match in them. Obviously, you alluded to this last week, Jeremy, when you said you thought Ibushi was going to beat Naito because it opens up a title opportunity in the future. And I don't know if you noticed, but many times And New Japan does not do this for no reason. They kept doing close-ups to the IC title in the middle of the match.
Mm-hmm.
Usually that's something that they do during title matches to show the importance of what they're battling over. And I thought it was weird. I was like, why are they doing close-ups of the IC title in a tournament match that's supposed to lead to the IWGP title? So I think they're foreshadowing the idea that these guys are going to be competing with one another over the IC title, possibly at Madison Square Garden. We don't know that yet. But that's what it feels like. But this match was dangerous.
Yeah, dude. Like I mentioned, like the tombstone on the apron. Ibushi there was a dude buster spot here, reverse dude buster that he hit. Yeah, dude, they were just dropping each other on their heads a lot, and just very hard strikes and slaps and chops and kicks, German suplexes. I mean, jeez. Ibushi hits a very nasty looking Bomaye knee. Man, this match was just incredible.
Yeah, I really, 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 really enjoyed this. Such a feeling of satisfaction at the very, very end when he finally hits Naito with that Bomaye knee and picks up the win.
Well, he didn't beat him with the Bomaye. He hit the Bomaye, got him a near fall, and then he dropped Naito on his head with like a J Driller like move, and then he hit him with the Kamigoye and put him out.
Isn't the Kamigoye like the Bomaye knee?
Kamigoye is where he grabs the wrist and pulls them into his knee.
I stand corrected. My apologies. But yeah, this match was awesome.
Yeah, dude. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Let us know in the comments or tweet us what your rating is for this match. But definitely, this is
the best night of the New Japan Cup so far.
Yeah. And question here from Reddit user that was 5 stars. Is Ibushi signing a 2-year contract the worst thing that could have happened to Naito?
Possibly. I still feel like, everyone keeps asking us what we think the main event is going to be next year. And I still have this feeling that if they're going to pull the trigger on Naito, it needs to be next year in the Dome. Just from them having biannual stories, historically speaking, when it comes to the Dome. I could see him and Okada headlining one of those nights over the IWGP title. But you have a point there. It's possible that Ibushi re-signing and signing an exclusive 2-year deal could be the worst thing for Naito's push.
Yeah, this could have changed a lot of plans, so we'll have to see what happens.
Sometimes too, self-fulfilling prophecy. They book the guy to lose a lot, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna pick it up next year." It's but then they're like, "Oh, he's not hot anymore." That's some Vince McMahon crap.
Man's not hot.
Man's not hot. It's you got him under by beating him a bunch of times. It's your fault.
Yeah. Another question here from Reddit user Bon Grip Suplex. He says, if Ibushi does not win the cup, does he get an IC title shot at MSG?
I think that's a likely scenario.
Yeah. Question from Rambone Slam Pig.
Uh-oh.
He says, what do you think the rationale was behind absolutely stacking night 3 of round 1? It seems like it was obviously the biggest show of the 4. Any thoughts?
Well, ultimately speaking, I think that everything's going to be pretty stacked, down the line. We'll finish this review here shortly, but I think that we got some big matches on the horizon. But in the past, and we mentioned this before, there's been some really stacked nights of the New Japan Cup before it. I mean, this is not an anomaly.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess one thing we probably should have paid more attention to was what cities and venues.
Oh, that's a good point.
That these shows were happening in. I have to go back and look and see where they were.
I didn't think of that.
Because I'm sure whatever venue they were for night 3, they needed to draw a big house, so they put that Naito Ibushi main event, and this overall had a better card that night.
Yeah, this night was stacked.
Yeah. So yeah, I liked all the tournament matches for the most part here this night. And yeah, they just top things off with this awesome match with Naito and Ibushi. So, yeah. Then we move on to night 4.
Just hours ago.
Yeah. Yeah, man. These Monday shows, man, almost trying to throw us off, but able to catch up in time for recording and get it in here. To me, night 4 was overall one of the weaker nights of the first round. Nothing really spectacular or anything too crazy happening as far as match quality on this night. So the first match we have Toru Yano versus Davey Boy Smith Jr. This is a rematch from the first round of last year's New Japan Cup, and Toru Yano always seems to have Davey Boy's number. He pinned him in a multi-man tag and pinned him last year in the New Japan Cup, and that was kind of the story of the match. Could Davey Boy Smith, finally, get this monkey off his back and beat Yano? And this was a real short match, 5 minutes and 40 seconds.
Thank God.
With Smith kind of outpower Yano in the beginning, but eventually all those muscles were no good for Davey Boy Smith Jr., and Yano was able to roll up Davey Boy Smith Jr. and get the pin, and Yano advances to the next round.
You would think that a descendant of Stu Hart would be able to stretch this man Yano, but apparently not so.
Stu Hart didn't teach it. There was no, lesson in the dungeon to handle, the antics of a guy like Yano.
This man Yano keeps beating Suzuki, so of course he's going to beat Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Yeah. Then next we had Minoru Suzuki versus Satoshi Kojima. This was a good, hard-hitting, back-and-forth matchup here. It wasn't as good as Ishii and Nagata, but I still think this was a very good match. I'm like 3.5 on this thing. Kojima looked really good in this matchup here, but Suzuki was just too much for him. And
if Kojima would have won, he would have got Kojima Gun back.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, a lot of history between both these guys, with Suzuki stealing Kojima's army from him. And they told a story throughout the multi-man tag matches that Suzuki could absorb whatever Kojima could dish out. There were several points in the match, in all the multi-man matches, where Kojima would be hitting the machine gun chops and Suzuki would be absorbing it, and Donkhouse would be like, "Look at him, Kevin. He's getting aroused. He's getting turned on by this." And the first night, night 1, Kojima actually busted open Suzuki's chest from giving him 3 sets of machine gun chops, and that was kind of the reoccurring theme throughout the multi-man matches. And in this match here, there were several of the machine gun chops with Suzuki just absorbing it. But yeah, Kojima fought his hardest, but in the end, Suzuki got him in the sleeper and hit the Gotch pile driver and got Kojima out of there, and Suzuki advances.
Did you cry?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, I knew that Kojima was not going to pull it out here. I mean, I would have popped huge if he did, but Suzuki is one of the top players in New Japan right now, and it made more sense to go with Suzuki than it did Kojima at this point. Then we move on to Sonata versus Hiroki. Oh, actually, I skipped the match.
Yeah, I thought you had the order correct, but I guess so. Colt, we saw the match between Ring of Honor's own Colt Cabana taking on the Unchained Gorilla Togi Makabe.
Yeah, this was a very interesting match. Colt's second tour in New Japan. The first tour was Honor Rising, but the crowd was really into Colt Cabana, cheering Cabana over Makabe. And Makabe is like a Japanese legend, Japanese celebrity in Japan. The crowd,
fuck that. Colt Cabana is the former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion.
But the crowd, usually they love Makabe and they're behind Makabe. He's a big celebrity in Japan. He's on a lot of TV shows and movies and stuff like that. But the crowd was really big into Cabana and behind him. And Cabana pulls out the surprise win, 7 minutes and 35 seconds with the Superman pin. And
what's the Superman pin?
It's the move where the they're kind of laying with their legs up, and then Colt jumps. He does like a Superman dive and rolls them into a cradle kind of thing. He did it during the Honor Rising tour.
And I don't remember. And
it's one of his signature moves. He did it in Ring of Honor all the time.
Is it the pin that Edge did to Beulah McGillicuddy? The porn star pin?
They kind of end kind of similarly, but he does like the whole dive thing that rolls into it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Cabana gets the surprise upset win here.
I am surprised by that. Like,
and
legit surprised.
We're getting Cabana and Yano in the second round.
Wow. How many matches have you gotten wrong? Just one?
Yeah, the only match I got wrong was Toa Henare and Lance Archer.
You got the vision this year.
Yeah, man, I'm loving it.
You're stupid. So in the main event of night 4, we've got the final match of round 1. Sonata taking on Hiroki Goto.
Yeah, and this match was fine. To me, it kind of underdelivered. This was the main event of this show. You have Goto and Sonata. They're two, pretty big stars and are capable of having great matches. And I mean, I gave this like 3.5, but I was expecting this match to at least hit 4 stars or go a little bit higher. I don't know if it's just a thing of Sonata and Goto just not having great chemistry together, or these guys realizing like this was a smaller house of the tour and just weren't trying to go all out here. But yeah, I was just expecting more from these guys. And it came down towards the end where Goto hits a Ushigoroshi, throws kicks at Sonata. Sonata counters a GTR and hits a suplex. Then a headbutt by Goto, and they work into a series of counters until Sonata gets the skull end. He drops down, releases, and then goes for the Muda moonsault and gets the win. And Sonata advances into the second round, the only LIJ member to survive the first round.
So as of this recording, the second round matches we have in front of us are Minoru Suzuki taking on Sonata, Toru Yano versus Colt Cabana, Kota Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr., Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Ryusuke Taguchi, Kazuchika Okada taking on Mikey Nichols, Will Ospreay and Lance Archer, Tomohiro Ishii versus Taichi, and Chase Owens versus Yoshihashi.
Yeah, and before we give our predictions for that real quick, we had a question from Reddit user that was 5 stars. He says, the Shota Umino 2.999 pin got me to pop hard. It's my favorite match of the Cup so far. If you could only pick one, which match has been your favorite so far?
Ibushi and Naito, easily.
Yeah, that was my favorite as well.
It's a match of the year candidate right now.
Yeah, that thing was incredible. So yeah, now let's give our predictions here for the second round. So going with Minoru Suzuki and Sonata, who you got there?
The winner of that is going to take on Toru Yano and Colt Cabana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Sonata.
Ooh. Gonna go with the Cole Skull.
Yeah, he made it pretty far in this tournament last year. Suzuki is a guy that obviously he beat Sonata. He beat Sonata just last month, and I think that's part of the reason why I see Sonata picking up the win here, kind of avenging his loss. We love that 50-50 booking here in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But in all seriousness, he went pretty far in the tournament last year, and I think that it stands to reason. It makes a lot of sense to see him kind of move on from this point. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Sonata.
I'm going with Minoru Suzuki here.
That's where you fucked up your brackets.
We'll see. But the reason why I'm going with Suzuki is based off of the potential matchup. So Colt Cabana and Toru Yano, I have Toru Yano going over to set up the Toru Yano Suzuki rematch.
Yeah, but if Sonata wins and Toru Yano wins, we get the rematch between him and Sonata from this past year's G1, the best Toru Yano match of the entire G1.
That is true. I didn't think about that.
Oh.
I was thinking more about Suzuki and Yano. So are you going with Yano over Cabana?
Of course. I don't think Colt Cabana should even beat Makabe. I don't know what's happening right now.
Oh, man. Man's over, though.
Is he?
Dude, the crowd was chanting Cabana.
See, I didn't watch today's show. They should have just put Cheeseburger in there. He's over, too.
But I like Cabana more than Cheeseburger.
Do you think Cheeseburger should get a junior title shot?
No.
He's over, bro.
Oh, man. They're not giving Cabana a singles title shot. Just throw him in this tournament here.
He could show up after a match and just point to the title and say, I want a challenge, and then get a title shot.
That's
how it works here.
Then we have Sabre and Kota Ibushi. Who are you going with here?
Oh, my God. This match is going to be awesome. It could go either way, but I got to tell you, I'm going with the curveball here because I think most people think Ibushi's moving on. I got Zack Sabre Jr. winning.
Ooh, that is very interesting.
I think it's going to be a bracket buster.
It could be. There is a bracket I saw that has Sabre going into the finals.
I think he might go to the finals.
He could, being last year's champion. But on my bracket, I have Kota Ibushi beating Zack Sabre. And then Ibushi would then face the winner. If Ibushi wins, he would face the winner of Tanahashi and Ryusuke Taguchi. And I got Tanahashi winning that to set up Tanahashi versus Ibushi.
Here's the thing. I think Tanahashi and Ibushi being a G1 final last year, it's a big match. It's always a big match. I think with Tanahashi and Zack Sabre being the New Japan Cup finals last year, it makes a lot of sense to kind of redo that match once again. So that's why I've got Zack moving on to face Tanahashi in the second round. So for my projections, I see Sonata and Yano and Sabre and Tanahashi. Two rematches with a lot of history behind them.
Yeah. Then we move over to the left side of the bracket, and we have Will Ospreay taking on Lance Archer.
There's no reason Will Ospreay should lose here, so Will Ospreay's moving on.
Yeah. There's absolutely no excuse for Ospreay to do the job for Archer. Then we have Mikey Nichols taking on Kazuchika Okada, Battle of Chaos members.
Again, no reason that Mikey Nichols should win here, so Okada's going to win. Let's move on.
Yeah, which will set up Okada versus Ospreay.
Crazy.
Which will be amazing. Then we have...
This is where it gets tricky.
The crown jewel, Chase Owens taking on Yoshihashi.
So the winner of this match is going to take on the winner of Ishii and Taichi?
Yep.
I have no idea, bro.
I went with Yoshihashi over Chase Owens. Just because Yoshihashi is a guy that they like to try and push at times, and it would just then if Yoshihashi beats Chase, that also gives him a claim for the U.S. title
because if Chase wins in the second match, he's going deep in this tournament,
which he could if they're really behind him. And then I have Ishii beating Taichi to set up Ishii versus Yoshihashi.
Yeah. So you've got Ishii and Yoshihashi.
Yeah.
So you got Ishii going up against Okada in the semifinals.
Yep.
My God. This is a tough one because it's like I don't want to see Taichi wrestle anyone outside of Ishii, but oh man, I mean, do I see Yoshihashi and Ishii? That's a lot of like chaos on chaos violence in this tournament.
Yeah.
Ospreay and Nichols, Ishii and Yoshihashi. I'm just gonna say I think it's gonna be Yoshihashi and Taichi.
Could be.
I really don't know. Like I'm kind of just guessing at this point.
Yeah.
Like I would love to see Ishii move on and wrestle Okada again, because Lord knows that G1 match that they had a few years ago is just freaking incredible. 5 stars, but I don't know if they do that during this tournament. It just seems like a lot to give away. Like right after I mean, if Okada goes from Elgin to Ospreay to Ishii, like, and then whoever he ends up wrestling in the final, whether it's Ibushi, Sabre, or Tanahashi, like, what a freaking murderer's row.
Yeah. And, there's got to be some upset in this round. We did have a question here from Senor Sombrero 3K saying, what is our prediction for upset of round 2? So I think you're going with Sabre as kind of your big upset in round 2.
I think Sabre is going to... I don't even think it's that much of an upset. I think that my projection for the finals right now, I see Zack Sabre and Okada being the finals. Sabre being the champion of last year's tournament. He got defeated by Okada in his title challenge at Sakura Genesis last year. Okada trying to rebuild himself, taking on the former champion from last year's tournament, a guy that he bested but had a lot of trouble with. I think it's an easy to tell story. I think it's like, am I like far out here? I think this makes a lot of sense.
That's a very reasonable scenario, and I could see Sabre going to the finals.
I think that's the safest big match you can give away, as opposed to I know a lot of people think that they're giving away Okada and Ibushi, and I'm like, right now? At this point, I don't know, man. That's like a big match to be given away. They could do Tanahashi again, but I don't think they are. I think the most... I mean... Sonata is another one that I'm like, they could do Sonata, because last year him and Sonata had a great title match, but I think Zack Sabre makes the most sense.
Yeah, I'm one of the guys that has Okada Ibushi, so I guess we'll just have to see what happens here as the tournament moves on. So that's going to wrap up our New Japan Cup coverage.
You know what? And you might not be far off base if you think about it. A lot of times the runner-ups in these tournaments ends up going on and doing something big. If he is going to get an IC title shot after this, they could just do Ibushi and Okada. Maybe I'm just, wrong.
I mean, either way, I think either
of those make a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, Gato's masterful booking on display right here. I
love this 32-man bracket.
Yeah, opening up so many options, and you just don't know which way he's going to go. So that's going to wrap up our New Japan Cup coverage for this week. Now we're going to get into the news real quick. First big news item, Jushin Thunder Liger to retire at the Tokyo Dome in January. There was a press conference that
it's a work.
Liger, age 54, says he hopes to wrestle all around the world until the next Tokyo Dome card in January, where he will retire. Right now, the reason why he's not on the New Japan Cup tour is because he's in Ireland, and he hopes that he could wrestle at the G1 Supercard event in Madison Square Garden. So yeah, man, Liger hanging it up.
Man, it's weird. Like, do we want to do a whole retrospective on Jushin Thunder Liger? Like, we could fill up a whole show doing that.
Well, we could
fill up a whole series of shows doing that.
We did have a question from Reddit user Eater of Bread. He says, have you guys ever considered devoting a week with no shows to review one big topic? I'd love a deep dive retrospective on Liger's career.
Maybe we have to do something like that. I don't know, man. Like, when I think of Liger, I think of his many, like, incredible battles. I think about, like, Naoki Sano, El Samurai, Great Sasuke, the matches he had with Muda, the matches he had with Hashimoto, the matches he had, all throughout the years. Like, literally, this guy's been having... He's probably had at least a 4-star match every year since, like, 88.
Yeah. This guy's incredible.
Or higher. Obviously the Pillman matches, the matches he had in WCW. I don't even know if I'd be watching, like, Puroresu if Jushin Thunder Liger hadn't come to WCW. Like, I literally remember him being this mysterious thing that, like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like,
who is that guy? What is he? Yeah.
I like, kind of forgot about him, and, like, it was, like, this aberration of my memory, like, what was that? Was that a real thing? There was a guy one time, right? This Japanese, like, he had weird hair and like horns and like what the freak was that? Jushin Thunder Liger is quite simply the greatest junior that has ever wrestled, bar none. You know, out of any style, whether it's Puro, whether it's Lucha, whether it's the early 2000s in the U.S. indie scene, like Jushin is the greatest junior that ever lived. I love Liger's work. Even going back to like his time in like the World of Sport days on Excursion when he was Kichi Yamada, like he's great, man. Jushin Thunder Liger's great. He has so many just incredible matches.
At 54 years old, still competing at a high level. And we saw what he could do with Ishimori at the anniversary show, and he just goes out there and this man can still go. And it's sad that he's going to be retiring. So take this next year to catch Liger if you can. He's going to be at the WrestleCon Super Show. He's probably going to be on the G1 Supercard show, and he's going to be doing a big world tour all over the place. So if you get a chance to see Liger, go out of your way to see him.
We got to see him wrestle at the CEO show, and I thought about this earlier this week when I heard the news, and I thought, is that the only time I've ever seen him live? Did we see him live last WrestleMania weekend? I don't think we did.
I was trying to remember if we did, but I don't. Because was he on the WrestleCon Super Show last year? No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think.
And so I think like us getting to see him this past weekend is probably gonna be the last time we ever see him wrestle live.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, this does not have Terry Funk vibes to me. This feels like this is actually going to be like it for him. Yeah, and he's retiring at the Tokyo Dome. And I mean, man, I love Liger matches. Like, I love like his stuff with Chris Benoit. Like, I just start thinking about all the great guys he's had like matches with. Jericho, like all these different people.
Yeah, Mysterio.
Yeah, well, the Mysterio match is not that good, but still. Shinjiro Otani and everybody, man, like
Tyler Breeze.
Yeah, Liger's the greatest, and
but I do think we should do some kind of retrospective special episode on Liger, looking back at his career. I don't know when it will be. It probably wouldn't be until after G1 because the schedule is stacked. After New Japan,
fuck the schedule.
After New Japan Cup, we're diving into MSG, and then after that, there's.
Have you ever seen the Naoki Sano match?
No.
Well, there's like 4 of them, but like the one from the one that won Observer Match of the Year.
No, I haven't seen.
Oh my god!
Honestly, I haven't seen many New Japan matches with Liger.
Bro, he's a bloody mess, and he gets his mask ripped off, and they start calling him Kichi Yamada on the commentary the whole time. Like, it's epic. Yeah. Sano, he actually mentioned Sano during the his retirement announcement. Like, yeah, Naoki Sano's a freaking badass. Like, nobody ever talks about this dude, but like he's a shoot legend. Yeah, bro, Liger's incredible. Like, Liger's you think about a guy who has wrestled every style, everywhere in the U.S. or no, I'm sorry, across the world. This is a dude that can go to Mexico and have incredible matches. He can go to Europe and wrestle the technical style. He can wrestle strong style. He can wrestle King's Road. He can wrestle the U.S. indie style, just the general classic NWA epic style. Dude, he'll freaking pull his mask off and reveal that he's freaking Keishin Liger and stab you in the head with spikes. He can do he can walk and brawl. He can plunder. He can high fly, he can, roll you up. Jushin Liger's one of the most versatile wrestlers that's ever lived. I don't want him to retire. He's ageless to me. He's never going to die. He's Jushin Thunder Liger. I don't want him to stop.
Yeah. It's going to be sad on the Tokyo Dome when he finally goes out. But like I was saying, I definitely would like to do a retrospective episode on him, and looking at the schedule, it probably won't be until probably right after the G1 finals. But yeah, we're definitely planning. I would love to do an episode like that.
How do you talk about a dude who's had 30 years of incredible matches though?
I don't know. But I would like to. Maybe we can get Chris Charlton on to do that retrospective with us.
Oh my God, yeah, that'd be freaking nuts.
So moving on to the news, we kind of already talked about the IWGP title match being official for MSG. Ishimori defending against Bandito and Dragon Lee. The talent has been announced for the ROH NJPW Festival meet and greet.
Which one? The one that Ring of Honor is doing, or the one that New Japan's doing?
Well, this is coming from Ring of Honor.
Gotcha.
The Festival of Honor. So the talent that you can meet and greet are from Ring of Honor. There you can meet Bandito, Brody King, Bully Ray, Dalton Castle with the Boys, Flip Gordon, Jay Lethal, Jeff Cobb, Kelly Klein, Manny Leon, Mark Haskins, Marty Skrull, Mayu Iwatani, PCO, Roosh, the Briscoes, The Kingdom, and Tracy Williams. From New Japan, you can meet Bushi, Evil, Hiroki Goto, Juice Robinson, Jushin Thunder Liger, Kazuchika Okada, Kota Ibushi, Sanada, Shingo Takagi, Tetsuya Naito, Will Ospreay, and Zack Sabre Jr. So if you head over to ROHWrestling.com, they have the full details of times and prices for the meet and greet for the G1 Supercard Festival of Honor. Also, the G1 Climax 29 schedule has been announced. So as we already knew, July 6th kicks off the G1 at the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. July 13th and 14th, they'll be at the Ota City General Gymnasium in Tokyo. July 15th will be in Hokkaido. July 18th, 19th, and 20th will be in Korakuen Hall. July 24th, they'll be at the Hiroshima Sun Plaza Hall. July 27th and 28th, they'll be in Aichi. In July 30th, they'll be in Kagawa. August 1st, they'll be in the Fukuoka Citizen Gymnasium. August 3rd and 4th, they'll be in Osaka. August 7th, they'll be in Shizuku. In August 8th, they'll be in Kanagawa. And then August 10th, 11th, and 12th, they'll be in Budokan Hall in Tokyo. So big lineup there for the G1 Climax 29. Like we mentioned earlier, El Phantasmo will be coming soon to New Japan and joining the Bullet Club. Also this past week, NJPW announced ticket information for the Royal Quest, and they've announced that tickets will go on sale to the general public at 12 p.m. GMT time on Thursday, March 14th. They're also doing a pre-sale for those who have signed up to a mailing list. The pre-sale tickets will be available to purchase on Tuesday, March 12th at 12 p.m. And like we already mentioned on this show, Tanahashi, Okada, and Naito are confirmed for the Royal Quest.
Royal Quest sounds like a cruise line.
It kind of does.
Like, come now, 5 days in the Caribbean on the beautiful Royal Quest.
Yeah. But actually, that's not the cruise, but I do think it's kind of a cool name for this show.
I was bearing it.
I know you were. Then on NJPW1972.com, there is a interview with Kota Ibushi where he shares
up in his feels.
Yeah, shares his real feelings about Kenny being an outsider and his injury. So go ahead and check that column out at NJPW1972.com. Then, like we mentioned at the beginning of the show, King Kong Bundy passed away this past week. And King Kong Bundy had some time in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He made his debut in the 1970s. He was known in Japan as the Great Whale due to his size. And of course, he became a huge star in the U.S. wrestling scene. So our thoughts and prayers with the family of King Kong Bundy.
It's been awful, man. Like, King Kong Bundy passed away. The Destroyer, Dick Byers, just passed away. Luke Perry from 90210 just passed away.
Yeah, father of Jungle Boy.
Which, in a weird way, that hit me harder than any of the other deaths because I love 90210. And also I watched Riverdale.
Yeah, he's the dad on Riverdale.
I was sad. I'm sad. And then, Wally Yamaguchi passed away.
That was the last thing I had here. Yeah, Wally Yamaguchi. You might remember him as the manager for Kai and Tai in WWE. He was 60, suffered a serious stroke in 2017, and was struggling ever since then, and has passed away. So thoughts and our prayers for all the families of all these men who have passed away recently in the wrestling community. You have anything else, young boy, before we head out of here?
God bless America.
All right. Well, on that note, we'll be back next week with coverage on round 2 of the New Japan Cup. And, we're looking forward to seeing what round 2 brings us.
Bro, we're living in a world where in the midst of this tournament, we could possibly get Okada and Ishii. We could possibly get Okada and Ospreay, which we probably are getting. We might be getting Tanahashi and Ibushi, Tanahashi and Zack Sabre Jr., and any combination of those 6 guys with one another in the finals.
Yeah.
And Sonata's in the midst. And Suzuki's a dark horse in the midst. Like, this tournament's freaking nuts.
Yeah, dude, this is going to go down as one of the best New Japan Cups ever. And I'm loving it.
I can't wait for Chase to win this shit.
Now you want Chase to win it all?
Well, he beat Juice. He's passed the big test. Now all he has to do is beat Yoshihashi, and then Okada, and then Tanahashi, and then ascend it, and then beat Jay White. He can do it. Chase is on the case.
Jay White versus Chase Owens, huh?
He's on the case, bro.
Yeah, he's trying. Next week we'll be back with our reviews of round 2. Make sure you connect with us on social media. On Twitter, I'm at Jeremy L. Donovan. Our show is at KI Strong Style. You can also follow us at Social Suplex. On Facebook, we are facebook.com/Social Suplex. On Reddit, I am the Pro Black Guy. Josh is Keeping It Strong Style. You can email me, jeremy@socialsuplex.com. Check out all the other shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. If you're a big fan of the sound of my voice, especially check out the past week of episodes, because last night I was on One Nation Radio. I was on the Ricky and Clive Invitational with Josh. I was also on the debut episode of NXT Then, Now, and Forever with James. So a lot of Jeremy on the Social Suplex Podcast Network on the last week.
Bro, I can't wait to check those out. You know I'm a big fan of your voice. So our schedule on Sundays, One Nation Radio, and like I mentioned, Rich and I, we did a review of Fastlane. Mondays until the end of April, we'll have the Omega Luke podcast. On Wednesdays, we have the Ricky and Clive wrestling show from Scotland. On Thursdays, we have our podcast dedicated to independent wrestling, Grown Men Watch This Shit, hosted by Jeremy Tate and Chris Bryan. On Fridays, we have NXT Then, Now, and Forever, hosted by James Boyd. And on Saturday, we have All Things Elite, hosted by Floyd Johnson Jr. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a rating, and review. Also, don't forget to check out our Pro Wrestling Tee store, prowrestlingtees.com/Social Suplex. And also, please spread the word about Suplex Mania, April 7th at the original Hooters across from Madison Square Garden. So we will catch you next week on Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts. And until next time, goodbye, good night, bang.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.